last time out, it was going during that,
Yeah,
even though it says it's not.
but it was.
But it was. I think every stream, I think that's like a part of it. It starts with a little bit of, the
I
host.
suppose Riverside thinks we're doing a podcast rather than actually live streaming as well, or does
I
it
don't
know we're
even
not?
know what Riverside thinks. Riverside's it's an
Interesting part.
it's a very interesting setup. All right, here we go. Tilehurst and Watchalong, and I think we're live on the internet. It says
I'm
on
getting,
the
yeah.
got one person
I've,
waiting.
I've just joined it from my side as well, just to look at the comments as they come through.
There we go.
I think we're
Okay,
live.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Are you able, Ryan, to play around with I can do it too. I'm wondering if you're able to play around with all the branding stuff and all that kind of fun stuff.
As
Uh,
in,
in
whilst
the
we're
right
live.
corner is where I've been putting up the. That's where I've been
I think
putting.
it's only you because you're the host of the meeting.
Yeah. I'll see if
Because
I
I've
can
only
make
got
you
Steve.
more. I'll see if I can. Yes, you're a guest right now. I wonder if I can make you even more important. I suppose I can't. All right. Well, I'll put up the graphics and things like that, but nothing too crazy anyway. The logo can't go on the stream anyway, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, let me post this on the Tilehurst End Twitter account so that you guys can come and join us. But welcome along. Let's do a proper welcome in a minute. Be excited for the game today, Ryan?
I am. It's going to be a difficult test against Steve Evans' physical Rotherham team, as per normal, as Ruben said in the week. Team that loves battling for their second balls. They've got some good League One players in there that have been about around the block for years, so it'll be a big test today. A big test. I'm hoping it's a bit better than our last trip to Rotherham, which ended in a 4-0 defeat.
Oh my
And
goodness!
Joe Lumley just having an absolute aneurysm, to be honest, and just throwing 3 or 4 balls in.
Oh my word! I'd completely forgotten. I've a lot of those final championship seasons. I have forgotten. I had completely forgotten we lost to them 4-0. No Steve Evans at that time though, so it doesn't hurt quite as much. I do not want to lose to Steve Evans. That
I
is
don't want
correct.
to lose to Steve Evans either, to be honest with you.
I think Sim pulled it up yesterday. So the away record since Wickham is something like 4-7-7. So 4 wins, 7 draws, 7 losses, which is, Wickham obviously being that big cathartic, we finally got an away win moment. Real quick, while I look at a man in an excellent Reading sweater in the stands, Rotherham are also, I think they've just finished a run of like almost 2 years without an away win. So
they beat Cambridge in the last minute, I think, in midweek.
Yeah. So they've certainly been in the doldrums too in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, with Reading away from home, it's just a bit interesting, isn't it? Really, I mean, you look at it, we've been doing better, yeah, but it's still not amazing in comparison to our home record. It almost feels like we rely on the home fixtures to get the points rather than the away ones. I mean, I know we're picking up the odd draw here and there, but it still wins a few and far between. I mean, we've not won away from home all season yet, have we? Yet?
No.
So, and I know we're going 3 wins in a row for the first time since August 2022 as well today.
Wow. Okay. Oh, that it really has been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah. It would be nice to get that. Like I feel that if the team can win today, I mean, like obviously in midweek, it's Bristol Street Motors or whatever, so it's a little less exciting or important. But I mean, if they get the win today, they're looking really okay going into the second international break. Probably even better than they did after the first one. So. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm still on my Reading or, good enough to really push this season kick, and this will be a good test because I remember Johnson Clark Harris at Medeski last year for Peterborough was a problem at times.
Yeah, he's one of those big physical strikers, isn't he? So it'll be interesting to see how Bindon and Amadou cope with him. It's definitely going to be a difficult test today, and I'd like to think, given our record against Steve Evans last year, which we got 6 points from 2 games, I mean, I know it's 2 very different teams in Rotherham and Stevenage. Rotherham definitely have more quality than Stevenage.
Yeah.
Just hoping you can at least get something. If I'm being brutally honest with you, I'd take a point. But
Yeah.
obviously, I want to win it. I want to win it.
I mean, like, I think we can win this one. They're still having a little bit of a, I don't know. I don't think that,
Only won
a
two
last
games.
minute win over one of the worst teams in the league is necessarily, like signs of them being on the up and up again. So I definitely think Reading should be looking at this. We got a really interesting question earlier in the week, or maybe yesterday, about whether like Reading's like setup works, doesn't quite work away from home. And I'm not gonna go diving deep into it right now because I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. But it would be interesting to look at, how there's like the wins and the losses and the draws or whatever, but there's also how much you're creating, and how
Yeah.
much you're giving away, like in terms of good chances and things like that. So it's kind of interesting
I
to look at.
I was doing a bit of digging with sort of the underlying numbers and everything with Reading before sort of the stream and everything. And to be honest, we're performing around right from what I saw. I think we're literally just maybe just underperforming or actually slightly. I want to say I
Yeah,
can't fully remember, but it's got us in and around sort of the mid-table mark. And interestingly, Opta analysts have done a sort of predicted points where they predict us to every team to finish based on obviously starts and stats and everything. They're
yeah,
putting us around 10th,
okay,
which, to be honest, about where I expect us to be in terms of the quality we've got.
yeah,
Um, that's just where they expect it to be. Birmingham obviously winning the division. One interesting team, sorry, this is completely unrelated, but one interesting thing which I
no,
find
please,
laughable: Wrexham, who are currently sat in second, according to expected points, should be 17th.
yeah,
And
yeah.
again, looking at Reading playing Wrexham, I can see why. They're
Yeah,
just
I was going to say they didn't generate a ton against
no,
us. They just had their moments and they took them well.
exactly.
And there's been a few others in that run that they've had where they kind of took their chances well. Or they just got to, like, they got battered, but they didn't get beat. I think Bolton, when they were 0-0 really
Yeah,
early in the season.
yeah.
Same
And
thing.
also it helps their goalie Arthur Okonkwo. He is really good. I think he's
Okay.
the kid from Arsenal. I rate him quite highly, and they're just very
Yeah.
clinical. So having a really good goalie, and he's one of the, again, numbers wise, one of the best performing in the division at the moment. Arthur,
It's
up there
funny
with
because
Sam Tickle from Wigan.
we're watching it. Tickle's always up there.
Is it?
It's funny because we're watching Steve Evans today, and I feel that like Wrexham might have a similar season to how Stevenage went last year, where they really
Yeah,
burned hot for the first like month or two, and then they started to tail off
it just fell
a little
away.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They won't be in the playoffs in my book, to be honest with you. I just don't. I can't see that. However, Stockport, I could see being up there if you're talking a newly promoted team. They've
Okay,
been looking
okay.
quite good so far. Ollie
I think
Norwood plays for them now as well, interestingly enough.
I've definitely got Reading ahead of Wrexham in my final predictions for the
I
season.
think I have as well, yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll end up higher up than that. Let's talk about. We got 10 minutes to go here. So let's talk about the lineup today. Obviously nothing too crazy, but Abrafa fit enough to come back into the team today, which is fantastic news. But I think Garcia was good against who did we play today? I didn't really get to
Uh,
watch the game the other day until after the game. So you were there. I did
I
not
was
get to
there.
watch. Yes.
I was there. Garcia had a very, very good game from what I saw. Well, what I captured as well,
Hmm.
interestingly enough. Garcia was fantastic. I can see the reasoning behind him dropping out of the team just because young 16-year-old lad, as we've said, Steve Evans' team, physical. They're going to just basically try and bully him and attack him if he plays. So Brafer coming in does make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Is it a bit harsh to drop him based off his performance? Yes. But at the same time, I, I, I can see the reasoning. I can see the reasoning for a Brayford coming into it, and I mean he was good. I thought on Saturday against Huddersfield, and
Yeah.
I didn't manage to catch the Bolton game, but apparently he's really good when he came on against Bolton. I know the result and game state was one thing, but Brayford was supposed to be really good there as well.
Yeah, he
So
was.
for me, it's not really too much of a drastic change at all. It's just a simple swap in, and it just makes more sense. I
Yeah.
think the only other change that I saw to the squad was CBC's obviously dropped out. I don't know whether that's through injury or whether that's he's already gone off with Jamaica for the internationals. and we've got young
Yeah.
Matt Rowley coming onto the bench. I think this is his first time in a matchday squad.
I think there is a U21 game as well on Monday, maybe. So I know Boyce Clark's been back around that team. It looks like Boyce Clark's the keeper that they want to go with in that Premier League International Cup.
Yeah,
The one
yeah,
with Ajax and all that kind of stuff. I was thinking about that, where, like how it was, I was somewhat surprised by how, not easily, but no, yeah, they're somewhat easily Reading like dispatched Ajax, and I'm like,
yeah.
Ajax are like this famous, academy.
Johan Cruyff's boys, and we've just gone and beaten them
Yeah,
2-1. And
smashed around. Yeah,
I was watching it going, right, this just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem right. Like Ajax famous academy, Reading very
right.
good academy, but not
Yeah,
Ajax academy, not Champions League players academy.
no, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Just
Yeah, young Ajax, obviously one of the most famous academies on the planet. So yeah, I was somewhat surprised, but I think that like I was thinking about that and how Kanai Boyce Clark was playing for Reading that day after having played, obviously with mixed success in League
yeah.
One earlier that year.
One
Um,
thing I've been thinking about with CBC as well. I was actually before the stream. This is one point I was going to bring up. I think
yeah,
one thing that he's actually really been lacking is alone at a lower level to make the mistakes he's been making. Because I
it,
think, I
yeah,
think he's been so protected in sort of the Reading bubble where he's always been around the 21s, and I might be wrong in saying he's not had a loan spell, but most of the other goalies, such as like Luke Southwoods, trying to
yeah,
think, Alex McCarthy had loads of loans as well. All these young goalies that have come through the Reading academies have always had like 3 or 4 different loans to different clubs to like sort of practice their trade, and if they make any mistakes we don't really hear about it. But if they perform
right,
well, obviously we're hearing about it. And I think with
yeah,
CBC, where he's been so protected and then put into the first team, he's now making these mistakes that a young goalie is going to make. And there's
hmm
obviously when you get into the senior team, that's so cutthroat to the point of everyone's now kind of down on him, which I do think's harsh because he's only 21 and he's still, as a goalie, that is very young. But
yeah.
I think a loan would have sorted quite a lot of these mistakes out 100%.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point. And I actually wonder if it's partly because I'm moving close to the mic because last time I had some issues with that. I actually think we a few weeks ago we talked about how like the last few years of ownership have meant that we haven't really been able to restock properly, and the goalkeeping department is one of the main places where that's been the case. But it's funny that
Yeah,
you say about like him not being able to go on loan, because like that is also a result of this, whereby Boyce Clark has always he's kind of been like the second in command now for like 3 years, I feel like.
yeah.
And so like you're right, like he can't go out on loan because he's the next guy. I've just
He's
seen
he's the one
Amadou
to.
arriving in his crazy sunglasses and his big headphones. Wonderful. But yeah, Boyce Clark has probably suffered from not being able to leave on loan.
Get that development
Quite as
loan
much.
in that a lot of goalies have had.
Speaking of goalies on loan, quick shout out this week to Jaakko Andersson,
Yes.
promoted with his boyhood club from the second tier of Icelandic football into the premier tier. So good for you, Jaakko. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Like
It
glad to
look
see that's going well. I wonder how his brother's doing as well. Axel, do you remember Axel Andreas and the Sunsback that played? I remember he played a cup game. I can't remember who it was against. Oh no, I do. It's Gillingham under Stam, and I thought he was going to be very very good, but he just seemed to have disappeared off the face of the earth. After I don't know where he is now. Axel.
good name though, isn't it? Axel
Yeah, Axel.
Anderson. There we go.
Yeah.
Greg's got 3-0 Reading today. I like that. I like
Ooh,
that
I don't know.
confidence.
Yeah, so do I. So do I.
I'm into that.
I
This
don't
is
know if I share the same.
quick note before the players come out, because we'll switch on to talking about the game and the team very quickly. And anyone who was here last time knows that Ben and I had a small delay, so you may be a little bit ahead of us. We will try to let you know where we're at so you can orient yourselves. Ryan, good week for you. You've been filming down at the club. Who is the most surprisingly big player in terms
Surprising.
of body? Because like football players are always bigger than you expect. Is what I always think.
God, that's a question. I would say I'm going to go Tyler Binden. It's a basic answer, but I just didn't expect him to be that tall, to be honest with you.
Yep,
And
yep,
I'll tell you another comment as well. David Button, his
yeah.
posture at all times, incredible.
Okay, good to know. All
Incredible
right,
sausage. Walked
that's
around,
good to
all
know.
his shoulders back. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, guys,
yeah,
look out for more of Ryan's editing and videos and things coming out from the club at the moment, which is exciting, of course. But yeah, Tyler Binnon, big lad, very
yeah.
big
He's
lad.
also a very nice lad as well. He a little kind of story. I mean, it's very minute, but he was coming in from the warm up for Burton, and I was stood by the dressing room, sort of filming them coming in.
Yeah,
Uh, and obviously, you expect players sort of to be in the zone, not really focusing. So if they see a camera, they're not really going to do much. Just came up to me. I was like, he looked at me, said, "Hey, how are you?" Shook my hand and just had a conversation for about 10 seconds. And I was just like, "You're right, okay." Just took me off
right.
guard a little bit. Just lovely lad, lovely
Yeah,
lad.
that's amazing. That's amazing. I feel like all of the team right now are very together. I don't feel like there's really any outcasts in this
No,
team
no, they were all very
at
together.
all.
All seem lovely lads as well. All of them,
Yeah.
which is good.
All right. Well,
But
we're getting close to the kickoff here. Are you watching the kids playing with the big
trying to do
flag?
the Champions League thing with a Rotherham United badge. Yes, yes, I am.
Yes. Wonderful.
I mean, I don't know what they're trying here, but it's not quite a UEFA competition, is it?
I like the coaches walking around trying to get them to continue to go up and
Wave
down
it
with
up and
the thing.
down, yeah. And they're just
Yeah,
too
yeah.
busy trying to wave at their parents. It's quite
Oh
funny.
man. Oh, Nelson Abbey apparently warming Swansea's bench, Greg says. They don't know what a Rolls Royce they have. I did not know that.
So,
Nelson Abbey over there.
Nelson, actually, about Nelson Abbey,
Yeah.
obviously, I talk about him a lot, but my friend that's a Wickham fan, Wickham played Swansea in the Cup and they beat them. And I forgot they're even playing him. He messaged me halfway through the game and's gone, "Is that Nelson Abbey the one that you said would play for England in the future?" I've gone, "Yeah, why? Is he having a good game?" He went, "No, he's being torn apart by Richard Kone," which was
Oh
funny.
dear.
Yes, he
Oh
didn't
dear.
have a very good game, apparently.
But
Players are coming out for me at the moment.
he
We've
did
got
win himself
Lewis.
a European trophy last year though, so you know.
He did. He did. I forgot about that in the Conference League.
Yep, you're right. Players coming out now.
We've
Um
got.
and
We're in our
looking good
lovely.
in the blue. Very,
I
very
say
good in
our
the
lovely
third kit.
Miami Dolphins coral blue kit that we've got. I quite like that kit, to be fair.
I like
So
that
it's
kit.
navy with the coral kit as well. Is it coral? Is that the color? I
Is that the
don't
color?
actually.
I go with teal. Coral for me is more of a pink. It's a pinky sort of
It's probably
peach.
yeah, probably is teal, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
yeah. I know, I like them. I wasn't really sure why they went with the sort of like Reading Festival sort of like style marketing with it, but
yeah,
good
no,
looking kit regardless.
yeah, it's nice. I will be making a purchase at some point because
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
three
when
kits this
I
year, to be fair, very nice, very nice this year.
Oh, and Ruben's still in the hat. That's the most important
Okay,
thing,
good,
ladies
good.
and gentlemen. He is in the hat still. I was pretty sure that the hat was so pristine last week that I was pretty sure that he had picked that up from the mega store about 30 minutes before kickoff. But
Quickly ran
clearly
in
he
with a
likes the
garage
hat.
kind
The
of.
hat's bringing him good luck right now. So he's
Do you
going to be
reckon that's
keep
one of
going.
his superstitions before the game? He's like, I forgot my hat. Forgot my hat.
Athletes are superstitious, man. They always have me. Do you know? I briefly, oh, not briefly, but for a while, I played ice hockey as well as football, and ice hockey players are even more superstitious because they wear so much gear. So there's like little ways in which you can sort of tie it all together and all those kinds
Got
of
the
things.
left on
So
before the rights or something.
last little question from Greg before we get kicked off here. And I think I can, yeah, I can highlight them and show them on stream. There we
Oh yeah,
go.
yeah.
Nice. Would you say Elliot has been our most improved player this season? Do you want to take that one first? It's a good question.
You know what? I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I really think there's been some development with him physically this summer where he sort of filled out a little bit, and I think you can tell by his consistent minutes how much Ruben's relying on him. You spoke in your tactics video in the week about we're trying to get Ben Elliott in sort of was it the red zone or the end zone? You're
Yeah,
calling
yeah,
it
red zone. Yeah, I said end zone by accident because I was thinking it's football season now
yeah.
over here.
In this, we're getting him in and around the half spaces, but yeah, I definitely say he's been most improved. You can tell he's had his first year of men's football. We're
Yeah,
moving now into sort of his second, and you can definitely see the improvement, and definitely one of our key players. As Rotherham are about to get us underway here
yeah.
with Mr. Joe Powell.
Rotherham have a four people on the near side here, so they've got some sort of kickoff routine coming. So
And
let's see how that
Steve Evans,
goes.
direct football's about to hit us.
Yes, yes, exactly,
Exciting.
exactly. So they're trying to
Uh,
create an overload down the right. They fail. Oh no, they do win a free throw-in. Okay, that's all right.
Oh, you're a little bit in front of me, I think.
I'm surprised we don't have one of these, just because we have throw-in routines and all these kinds
Yeah,
of
with
things.
Amadou.
So we have fancy stuff. I'm a little bit surprised that we don't have a kickoff routine.
It is rather funny when we get anywhere near the box and Amadou just like looks at the bench and tries running forward to take the throw in.
Yeah,
Rotherham just
yes, yeah.
probably
We gotta, yeah. I feel like
well,
Craig has ended up playing so many times as like the last man back because Amadou has to run forward. Ball coming into the box here
corner ball for
and over the
Rotherham.
top for a Rotherham corner.
That's a
Um,
button to the claim to my eyes.
all right, I'm
That
on
was it.
50. Where are you?
I'm on 55.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we're pretty close today. We're
Yeah,
pretty
we're pretty
close.
close.
So
Yeah,
you're
that
gonna be a
cross.
couple
I'm,
seconds ahead of me. Do you want to do the play-by-play stuff and
I
I'll?
can do, but my stream has just. I've got a spinning wheel of doom at the moment, which
Okay,
is interesting. Oh,
I'll
I'm
keep
now on
this.
104. 104, I'm on.
Oh, you're a tad behind me now. Okay.
I'll try to get back in front of them.
That's all right. We'll keep it. I'll keep the play-by-play coming out. So Rotherham with a corner coming into the box here, ball delivered in, and it hits the first man, who's Harvey Nibbs. Yeah, I like these kits. The whenever they release a shirt, I always forget that it looks so much better with the shorts and the than
Yeah,
the
because you
socks and all
always just
that as
judge
well.
a shirt by itself, don't you, without actually seeing the whole thing.
Full uniform looks great here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
All
say
right,
one thing.
so Reading here with a, I think we got a free kick, or is it a throw in down at the back here?
Oh,
Brayford taking it
it's a
deep
bit
in the
far, I
left
should
back
imagine.
spot.
I will say one thing. I do prefer Reading when they wear their blue home shorts over any white home shorts. I don't know if that's a controversial take amongst Reading fans, but I think a
I
full
also
blue
prefer that.
and full white.
Reading, I always prefer as blue as their primary color rather than white
Yeah,
as the
rather
primary
than white.
color. Like I never ever think of us as a white team. We're a blue team. Like, come on now.
No, it's always yeah, just predominantly blue. Nice
All
claim by
right, Button
Butterfield.
claims the ball into the box here. Let me go. Let me see if I can put up like a little piece of text here for the score. Let's see.
Whilst they're doing that, do you want me to just run through the Reading team just in case any of our
Yeah,
viewers
yeah,
have
go for it. Let's take us through who's playing for
in
Reading
goal,
today.
we've got number one, David Button, Michael Craig's at right back, Tyler Binden, Amadou Mbengu, and Kelvin Abrafa returns at left back. We've got Wing playing in the six with Elliot and Nibs in front of him. We've got Kelvin E out on the left, Smith up front, and Chem Campbell on the right after his 2 goals in midweek.
Do you know, I'll re-answer that question about who I think's been the most improved this season. I'm going to go Kelvin in that regard. I think
Really?
Kelvin's Yeah, I think Kelvin's been much better this year. I think there's been times when he's been off the boil,
Yeah.
but like he's proving that he can be a very useful, um, more of a half
Yeah.
space winger, but still very useful.
One thing I would say with Kelvin, if you would have asked me this first 4 games into the season, I would have probably agreed up until Wrexham. But I'd say he's been very sort of quiet recently. I'd say.
He was
I
very
mean,
good against Huddersfield, so that's the main reason
yeah,
I say that. And he was very helpful at that time. You know, kind of before Chem got more up to speed.
yeah, I
Reading
suppose.
a little sloppy there, coming out of their own half, trying to throw the ball out. Haven't particularly got going yet. Michael Craig gives away a free kick on his side down there.
Super push.
But yeah, just sort of holding them towards the wings at the moment. I wouldn't say that Rotherham have broken into the box necessarily, but Reading not
No.
necessarily doing much at all.
Although Clark Harris was 100% looking for that there. That's a very soft dive from him.
He's a good player. I tell you what, I think Clark Harris. I'd be interested to see how he is in terms of like pressing, but Clark Harris would probably be a somewhat
Uh,
useful player for Reading these days. Free
yeah,
kick comes in from Rotherham, and it does find a Rotherham foot, but it's over the top.
they're going to definitely try and capitalize on as much set pieces as possible here. Steve Evans, you'd expect that.
Yes.
Clark Harris always looks angry for me as well. I'll say, he's always seems like just always, yeah,
He just looks
but
like he'd be a pain in the neck, though. Like I really wouldn't want to
yeah,
deal with him.
no,
Maybe a little bit better than Dion Charles, last away game out at Bolton, but he's not. He's just a pain in the neck. He's a good League One operator,
always
Clark
around. Yeah.
Harris.
I'm surprised no one in the championship picked him up when he was at Peterborough. To be fair, but I think it might just be his age that's kind of sort of gone against him.
I have a feeling like I mean, okay, so I don't know enough about Clark Harris, but I have a feeling that he's just like a certain type of striker that works a little better um in this league. And again, that kind of seems like nonsense. So I don't. Maybe I'm not gonna die on that hill. Reading trying to build up here. It's looking a little bit messy. I'm trying to work out exactly what's going on, but Wing breaks out really nicely. And then again, narrow eights. Chem Campbell running towards the box. Nice. Skips around one player, delivers the ball in. Oh, it's hit a Rotherham player and spun out for
Nice dribbling from Chen.
that's
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
Sorry, viewers. I am about 5 seconds behind Ross, so if I do react to it a slight bit later, that would be why.
My apologies, Ryan. I'll try and
No,
keep myself quiet and I'll start doing ratings in a minute and you can tell us what's going on as well if you like. I'll hand the corner over to you. This corner is all yours.
we've got Lewis Wing. I'm going to deliver it in from the left-hand side, in swinging corner, looking like. It comes in now, and it's cleared by the Rotherham defender, just onto the edge of the box, and it's away. Reading have given away a throw, though, sadly, and it will... Attack's kind of died out there. Not the best to corner that from Wingy, to be fair.
Not the best corner, no. Did notice that he's got some lovely pink, I call them cleats on, which is very good.
A ball up through a field from Dawson. Bindon
Nice.
challenges well from it, and it will bring away with it. Now that is a foul, referee. Referee, no, okay. Thanks, ref.
Referee's not interested.
Come away with it now down the right. Rotherham, I still think might be suffering from their absolutely stinking season in the Championship last season. I will say, because that was
they really didn't do much, did they?
no, which might only be why they've won 2 games out of. I think we played 9 so far, 2 out of 9.
Yeah, they've certainly had a pretty disappointing start. I think they would have expected to have a bit more going on. I haven't really, I don't really know from the Rotherham fans' perspective, how they feel about Steve Evans coming back and all those kinds of things. I imagine he's the kind of manager that when he's at your club, you don't mind him because he's funny, probably.
Yeah,
So,
and I think it very much depends on the. I hate saying I don't want this to come across as any snobbery kind of things. I think it depends on the values of your club. I think a Steve Evans at a club like a Rotherham, where they don't necessarily mind sort of more long ball football and they know they're sort of like an underdog mentality, if you will, would go down a lot better than Steve Evans at I'm trying to think, at Birmingham or somewhere like that, or when he was at Leeds.
Southampton.
Rotherham just won the ball back in the midfield, breaking into our box. Clark Harris has a shot blocked by Wing. Kelvin just picks it up and will probably no into Nibs, and that's a foul. Thank you, referee.
Yeah. Very well won by Kelvin.
Yeah. Steve Evans at any other club, I don't think would go down very well. Anyone that's not seen as an underdog.
Steve Evans at Swansea. That's what I'd like to see. Those two things not sound right.
Last year. Michael Duff, a very direct manager, you just knew it wasn't going to go down very well. They're always a possession-based team, Swansea.
Yeah, they really are. I know Southampton and Swansea are the two that I always think of because I know Russell Martin now obviously plays possession, but there are many years where Southampton plays possession. Anyway, let's talk about Reading. Who cares about Southampton? Michael Craig here with a throw in down the right. It's been a little bit scrappy in the last few minutes. Nothing really going for either teams at the moment. Like Ryan said, there was a blocked shot from Johnson Clark Harris and Reading, trying to exit their own half, kind of down the left side mostly, but winning some free kicks, nothing too crazy right now. Like
dropping in on their 6 as well. If you look, he's kind of hovering around Dauphin, the number 22.
Yeah,
you kind of saw it there with him
you're 100%
being
right.
More deeper than Campbell and Kelvin. Greg, positive start. I wouldn't call it positive. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ross, but I wouldn't call it a positive. It's just been very cagey.
It's been cagey. I think a lot of Ruben starts are a little bit, especially away from home. Because at home, obviously, they do sometimes start pretty well running, but yeah, it's been pretty cagey so far. Nothing really.
Nibs
nothing really good.
Back on there after a nice little scrape from one of them.
And that's Nibs already involved in about 3 ball winning challenges like that. So Yeah, Nib's doing his thing already. But yeah, nothing. I wouldn't say Rotherham look hugely dangerous right
No,
now, though. But you are exactly right. Ryan is correct that Smith is kind of dropping, even though he is the centre forward, he's kind of dropping and marking the six and allowing Rotherham's centre backs to have the ball, which is. It's an interesting tactic because you'd think that Rotherham centre backs are quite happy to chuck the ball over the top. But they are trying to hang around and look for a wide player. So
yeah.
at the moment, it is a little bit of a tactical stalemate, I would say.
Yeah, you could say that. It's a very League One game, if you will. A very
It's a
League One.
very League One game. Yes, exactly. And just see what I've. All right, tactics board is here. Fun.
Oh,
Everyone's
it's
favorite.
taken it's binned
But
into the bin.
hang on, let's just see what's going on here.
Oh,
Lovely
no.
tackle from Harvey
What?
Nibs. You watch this.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant recovery.
Oh, and then
Ah,
very lucky not to concede.
being wide by Button.
What Ryan was talking about. So middle three here, front three, Sam Smith right here. And Sam Smith is marking this player, the number 6, in build up and allowing the ball to be with the center backs up here, basically, which is interesting. The fullbacks are being marked by the wingers, but Reading do seem happy to allow the center backs to have it at the moment.
Probably something picked out by one of our analysts, I can imagine, as we bring the ball out from the goal kick with Calvin Abreka.
I always like how James Oliver Pierce kind of just like looks contemplative on the outside of the technical area, whereas Ruben's always up and down and all these kinds of things. I do also like that Steve Evans has chosen to wear the form-fitting wear,
Yeah,
even though he is a
probably
man.
not the type of wear that you want to. Clothes you want to wear as a larger male, shall we say?
Yes, yeah. My dad once told me that he'd stopped buying, kits because he didn't like the idea of being a middle-aged man in a kit that was fitting a little too tight. But clearly, Steve Evans is not worried. Lovely ball forward here to Sam Smith. He's kind of working on the edge of the box. He's not offside. Reading on the edge of the Rotherham box here with Chem Campbell. Lewis Wing now having a look. Ball goes into the box, not quite finding a Reading player, and it is a goal kick.
Nice.
I apologize, Ryan. You're getting the radio play of the game, and then you're getting it right again afterwards from me.
It's fine.
Those drilled-in balls from Lewis Wing, really nice. So, like I said this week, I do think they've now made a good effort to get Wing a little bit higher up the field.
I think they've realised that they're losing a bit of goal threat, especially when that ball pings in and around the edge of the box. They're definitely losing that goal threat.
That actually, so like Elliott being the most improved this season, that's something that I'd like to see more from Elliott, is more long shots. Like Elliott gets goals, don't get me wrong, but he gets them from like just outside of the box or like within the box. And if he could score kind of like Savage does, I think Elliott's a better player overall than Savage at the moment, but Savage is a better ball striker from long distance.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sorry,
just on that. I don't know if it's something. I'm sure Elliott's a very confident lad when it comes to being on the ball, but I don't know if it's something in confidence, because Savage is one of those that always strikes me as maybe not that confidence isn't the right word, but no, I don't want to use the word reckless either. But you know where Savage has got that edge to him, whether he'll run into a tackle and kind of not lose his head, but almost just sort of. He's here, there, and everywhere. Whereas Elliott's always very more calm, composed. Would rather look for the pass. Whereas Savage is like, no, let me just shoot from 20 yards and see what happens. He's good at it, and I'm not taking that away from him. But I'd say that's definitely a difference in character. Where Elliott's composed, controlled on the ball. Savage is more sort of flamboyant. I think that's the word.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. All right. So just briefly here, Reading again trying to break out of their own half, but really not managing to get super far with it at the moment. It's still scrappy, and Reading really not bothered about the centre backs having the ball at all.
No.
But letting the 6 have the ball isn't such a good idea, Sam. Let's get moving again here. Chem moving well, and Calvin pushing out now. Reading have pushed Rotherham all the way back to their own box for the goalkeeper to deliver long. But when you've got Johnson Clark Harris up front, you can hit him. Luckily, he is offside.
I am, just to double check minutes, I'm on 14:40.
Okay, I'm on 1456.
Right, so
So I'm quite a bit ahead now. You're in New York. That's the problem. Up here in Maine, we're ahead in time. That's what's going on. There has actually been some clamor over here to move Maine to Atlantic time, which will put us
Atlantic.
another hour ahead of
It
New York.
confuses me how they can just like decide, you know what, we're gonna move time zones. We're gonna move
All
to
right,
this.
we can't get into it right now because I won't stop. But we can briefly touch on it at halftime because time zones in this country are wild. Rotherham starting to build up here again, just past the 15-minute mark for Reading here, and again it's been kind of scrappy so far. I'm gonna go check the sofa score stats, but
Long ball forward, cleared
not a
by a
whole lot.
Brafer. As Calvin looks depressed now.
I'm gonna pull this up.
Dawson
If you
went down
guys
the
are ever
right
wondering, we
forward.
do use Y Scout at the Tilehurst end, but SofaScore actually forms a large part of the kind of stats base that we use.
They're very good with their stats, to be fair, so for score.
They're excellent SofaScore, yeah.
Reading coming away with it now with Chem just running through the middle. Plays out wide to Kelvin, who I'm going to say that was a miscontrol, but we've kept the ball there, and we're just recycling the ball now with Bindon.
There we go.
Just running, taking the time here, which is good. Try and settle into the game a little bit, see if we can work a move with the triangles.
All right, here we go. Pulled up the
Forward down the right with Chem. Let's take on his man. Comes inside. Wing. Wing. That was a poor touch. And Rotherham get it clear. Ball clearance though, and it's back at Button. Again, another chance to rebuild. Reading really settling into the game now.
not generated any XG just yet,
I don't
but
think we had a shot yet.
hopefully soon.
Down the left, here's Smith. Cleared, and Rotherham will get the ball here.
Ball just behind Harvey Nibs there, but not bad. Good to see Smith, getting around again. Last week he had, I think, 22 touches versus Huddersfield, and not one of them was in the box. So I think that's something. I mean, like maybe an away game against a team that maybe the coaching staff are being careful about. It isn't the game you're going to get tons and tons of touches in the box, but hopefully a few more for Smith today if we want to score a few more goals.
I know we were talking about in the week, Ross, about maybe Smith's sort of deeper role when he's sort of marking the 60s playing a factor into him not scoring as much, where he's got more defensive responsibilities.
It's possible, for sure, because like then your starting position is reserved, and like that can be an issue. But we see strikers that do that anyway. So I kind of think that he can do it.
Yeah.
My issue has been that I think that the near post run disappeared. I thought that he was doing that a lot in preseason, and it was coming off really well for him, and then just kind of slowed it down in the first few weeks of the season, and as a result, I think that Smith was suffering. I think that Smith, his best finish, in my opinion, is that near post arriving. He's very good at just finding a way to flick it around the goalkeeper and get a foot in ahead of the defender. And he hasn't had that kind of service really in the last few weeks. I'm actually quite impressed he's already got to 3, because I don't think it's necessarily him. I think that the system hasn't been working for him as much so far this year.
It was one penalty against Bolton, and then I can't remember.
Yeah,
Bolton, and then it was Bolton, Charlton, and midweek header.
Yeah, and I think the one that Akande, he got off Akande's cross is the kind of finish that I would consider Smith's bread and butter, that he hasn't had enough of so far this year. We're getting to the 19th minute here. Rotherham probably pressing a little bit harder here now. Their centre backs are not far from the halfway line, so they are pushing up pretty high. Their goalkeeper was probably just in the middle third there. And they are, like you say, searching for these second balls right now. Johnson Clark Harris, doing a good job against Bindon at the moment of winning some of these balls. Reading looking for a lot of free kicks as they try to escape, and the ref is starting to turn down a few of them. So need to make sure that they're actually starting to win some of these balls.
Good tackle. Nice ball forward as well to Smith. That's a foul, ref. No. Okay. Thank you very much.
Big lads,
Oh,
very
God.
big
Here comes,
lads. All of these Rotherham
here comes
players.
Rafferty.
Who's the number 22, Ryan, for Rotherham?
22, Hakeem Adothin.
I don't know.
22. They're number 6. That's a
Up,
nice turn
up,
from them.
up there against Brafer for a minute. He looked like about twice the size of a
He does.
Brafer.
He looks about 7 foot.
Yeah, he's a big lad. It
Crosses.
is funny. Well, let's describe what's going on here. Elliot with the ball in the half space in the Rotherham half. Reading finally with a little bit of a chance to build some possession there. Craig and Elliot down the right side here, and Reading in possession in Rotherham's half.
Looking for that ball forward.
And that ball
Go
goes
out wide to Craig.
Can't quite find it on the right side. So they've cycled over to the left. The Brafer here. Rotherham are pushing pretty high. It must be said, and that's causing Reading issues. Reading in build up here. Wing tries to play the ball around the corner, and it's straight out for a Rotherham throw in. Haven't written anything for ratings yet because nobody's really done anything super notable.
No moment of There's nothing that I would particularly pick out. I mean, I think Bindon's had a couple all right interceptions. Nibs has won the ball back a few times as well, but apart from that, there's nothing.
Bindon's only allowed that second space, right in front of him once or twice so far in the game, which is pretty good going. I'll pull out the I'll pull out the board again, and we'll talk about what Rotherham are up to. I'll just do it this way around again, but give us a quick description of what's going on in the match while I get all that ready.
So, Rotherham just here progress, playing the ball around in their half, just coming over the halfway line now. Reading trying to trap them in a pressing trap, but it'll go back to Cameron Dawson in the Rotherham goal. Definitely sitting off the centre backs is what Reading are aiming for here. Not trying to press too high.
Yeah.
Smith still trying to track a Dauphin as the number 7 Powell drops in and picks the ball out wide on the left. Rotherham now wide on the left-hand side. Played into, I want to say that's Clark Harris. That's a really silly foul to give away. Amadou just on the edge. And Rotherham are going to have a free kick just on the edge of the box. Stupid little fouls given there. I mean, he was looking for it. It was minimum. Nah, actually, no, it was a foul. It was a foul on Sam Nombe. Ex-Maynard United player Sam Nombe. He was on loan there for a while. Powell standing over the free kick for Rotherham with his short bloody socks.
Short socks others
people. You've got to justify the short socks in my eyes. You've got to justify it. You don't do it for the sake of it. You need to justify that you are a skillful attacking winger in the Grealish build, if you will.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm imagining Powell's going to probably swing this ball in here. He's lining up like he's going to swing it in. Button team's ready for a cross as well. Just wide, just on the left-hand side of the running box, this top left-hand side. Powell with the ball in, straight at the wall, and it's out for a Rotherham corner.
What minute are you on now?
23:02 I'm on, or just on 04.
You're quite a bit behind me now, but that's okay.
I think my stream's lagging a little bit.
I might I'll slow myself down in a second, don't worry, and then we'll be back on the same kind of thing. Very quickly, what Rotherham are doing here all the time. Reading are keeping well, hang on a minute. Reading get a free kick right on the edge of the Rotherham box here. Wing looking to shoot, gets to the edge of the box, right in the positions that we want him to be in. But he does get tackled just as he's going in. Doesn't look like there's going to be a card for the Rotherham player here, but a good opportunity for Reading. Rotherham, very, very quickly. Let's say that they're in the black here, and these are Reading's forwards down here. Reading are leaving the centre backs to it. They're not really pressing them super hard. They are pressing the fullbacks and the 6 to try and stop progression. Ball's coming forward to the furthest forward player who's trying to knock the ball back very quickly for a little wall pass or something like that so that the second striker can get a shot off. So far, Bindon has done a pretty good job of stepping forward and denying that space or blocking it up right after that ball is played. So
good
The
opportunity
only
to.
issue I have with letting the center backs have the ball is that I think any center back can chuck the ball over the top, uh,
That's why they've
for
got
a big
decent
player to
balance.
win.
A good opportunity this for Wing, just on the edge of the box. It was a nice build-up play there, to be fair, as well from Reading, with Smith holding the ball up nicely.
Couple good questions in the chat, which I'm going to answer soon. But first, that's just I know you're way behind me, so I'm going to take over and talk you through this wing free kick, and I do apologize. Wing
Oh,
here over the free kick. Oh my absolute gosh! Wing has just hit an absolute screamer that Ryan is going to see in just a
I'm
moment here. I am going to pause myself, Ryan, so that we can be on the same thing because I feel bad stealing your joy
I'm
from you.
excited now.
There we go.
Oh,
Fantastic.
he's just standing over the free kick for me now.
Sorry, I couldn't contain myself.
Oh, goalie side as well. That's a good free kick. That get
That is
in
a
there,
fantastic free kick. Yeah, so
doing
this
what
is
Bolton did to us,
this
capitalising
is
on those set pieces.
you gotta love it. This is right on the edge of the Rotherham box, literally within the little D on the outside of the box. And Wing was actually the guy who was going to shoot. The ball has just come back to him, I guess, on the free kick, and he's rifled that one home. I'm going to pause myself, and that
I'll be
way,
honest. I think the Rotherham goalie needs to be doing better there. Cameron Dawson, that's quite poor. It's gone goalie side, and he's got a hand to it, but it definitely should have been a stronger hand there.
yeah, I would agree with that. But who cares? Reading one goal
Yes,
to be good
exactly,
here. Let's go.
exactly.
All right,
Really,
I've paused myself a little bit here, so I'm on 24 now.
you're on 20. What is in 24? I'm on
26, 24.
I'm on 26-14. Just gone
Okay,
15.
I'm pausing again with Wing standing over somebody in the midfield. But that
I'm
is
now.
exactly where you want Wing shooting, I guess. I mean,
Oh,
obviously it's a
yeah.
free kick, but again, he had he
He
won
was
the
the one
free kick as well, and took the shot. All right, I'm 26-35.
Yeah, yeah. There's like a second in it. That's fine.
Perfect. All right, good. Now we're back on. We're back on. Tell me if it goes slow for you. Chat, we might be a little bit behind you. So
Apologies, my Wi-Fi seems to be a bit
apologies.
dodgy over here in New York.
Yeah. Ryan's in New York today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Garcia is being
Oh,
warmed up at the moment. So I
good.
wonder if a Brafer obviously
Might be
didn't manage to play in midweek.
all in
And
with
Sellers did said that he
Rotherham.
wasn't fit. So possible
Well,
that a Brafer is going to have to come off early here.
that's slightly worrying, especially given all
Yeah.
that back options.
Hey, exactly. Reading don't exactly have too many
No,
options at fullback right now, especially given that a center mid is playing at fullback on one
yeah,
side for us. Clark
yeah.
Harris able to win the ball there, right outside the box, and this is kind of what I was saying. Rotherham are trying to do. This is what's dangerous about this play
I
here.
don't, I
So,
don't know what Wilkes has done there, but that was certainly interesting.
who
Who's this
is
going
this
off
number
then?
two? Who's
A
coming off?
Brafer.
Is that a Brafer?
Yeah, it's a Brafer.
Yeah, it's a
Slightly
shame.
worrying. Let's see if he's hobbling or anything.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder what it is with a Braver because he doesn't necessarily like. That's the thing. I haven't necessarily seen him like hobbling.
No,
Like you
no.
said, like any time when Sellers has been saying that he's. Oh no, no, yeah, there's definitely a little bit
Yeah,
of discomfort there as he's trying to move. Real,
worrying.
real shame for a Brafer because I think this could have been a season when he had a chance to kick on, and there are times when a Brafer was reminding me a little bit of Omar Richards.
Yeah,
Um,
and this season, especially with Yeardon being out, obviously he's naturally a right back, not a left back as well. And
mm,
I thought this year, without Yids, we would have kind of seen a Brafer kick on for when Yids eventually leaves us, because I can imagine that's probably he's the wrong side of 30 now, so I can see that coming soon. It would have been a Brafer's real breakout season. It's a shame he's been involved in injuries. Bit of a mix up in the midfield there with Wing and Elliott as Rotherham come away with it.
yeah.
Down here on the left hand side with Joe Powell again. Gonna look to try and get a cross in. Good defending from Binden there. It's out for a Rotherham corner. Oh no, Wing. Sorry, that was
Wing,
Wing.
yeah. I was going to say Wing's been great in
Yeah,
defense, by the way. The last, I think that actually, I will say about Wing, I think that's one of the things that goes under spoken sometimes with
he's
the
a very good fit.
conversation about whether he should be, further forward on the field. Is that he's a physical presence, and he is a good defender. Ball coming in here for the Rotherham corner, and it's over the top.
Nothing to worry about there. Yeah.
There's, go
One
ahead.
thing I love about Wing as well is sort of he does this thing where he goes into a tackle sometimes, and he or not even goes into a tackle, or he'll get tackled, and he's sort of got the ball kind of stuck in his feet, and yet he'll still come out with the ball.
Yes, yes, yeah.
I've only ever really seen him do it, but it's a very unique
I
thing.
was
And
gonna go in. I was gonna mention that. Yeah, I would call it being like strong in the tackle if I was like talking to the
oh yeah,
boys or whatever. And like when if you play football, this kind of experience whereby you put a foot in on the ball and the defender or the player opposite you puts a foot in on the ball at the exact same time, and it is just who has put the stronger foot in on the ball is going to come away with it basically. And Wing is very good at winning that kind of no, this is mine
that's my ball.
tackle.
You're not having it. My ball, my ball.
I just think he's a big lad, Wing. Like, I think that goes.
He is. I
Elliot
was
here on
very
the edge of the box taking a shot, but it's gone up and over. That's the shot that I want Elliot to develop. That's the one. Reading looking a lot better here since the goal. They're starting to get some a bit more time on the ball and getting the
definitely been
ball
a positive
forward.
half from us.
And there's a
Definitely been
question here from Lee. Actually, I'm going to highlight the one from Andrew as well. So thank you guys for getting involved. And if you have any questions, please do shoot them into the chat. We are happy. We'll go through these and answer them as we're chatting here and try and keep you up to date with what's going on in the game as well. But like I said, Reading having a little period of some attacking intent after their goal. So looking not too bad, and hopefully we can get the crowd on Rotherham's backs pretty soon, because with the international break coming up, I wouldn't be surprised if there are some twitchy fingers starting to think about a change from Steve Evans.
A lot of expectation for them with the signings they made as well, that they'd be competing towards the top half, and Steve Evans' promotion record as well. You would have been
exactly.
But
so Andrew says Wing trying the up and over to Smith hasn't been working this season, and Lee kind of says something similar about Reading turning into a long ball team, which I don't necessarily know if that's the case, but they definitely were in this game for the first part here, chucking the ball forward, and you do see them chuck the ball forward over the top to Smith or a lot. Don't get me wrong.
Or even Kelvin sometimes out on the left.
Or even Kelvin, yeah, sometimes. I think that it's a reaction to, like maybe not getting the build-up situation that they wanted when they do put it forward. And sellers would probably tell you it's another strength.
Good save, David Button. Sorry to interrupt.
No, please do. Yeah, fantastic save.
Clark Harris with a really powerful header there, ball in from the right, and it's a very powerful header. Button tips that over his bar. Luckily, it wasn't down to either side, but very good hand there from Button. Very good hand. Sorry, Ross, to cut you off.
No, please, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and share this on the Tilehurst end.
Rotherham with the corner. Played shorts. Let's try and get in the box. Is that a goal kick? It's a goal kick. Good goalkeeping there from Button. I'd say Rotherham's best chance of the game so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Good though. I don't know what he was. I think he was trying to claim for a penalty there. I think he might actually be injured.
Remind me of your Twitter handle.
Oh God, do I even?
Yeah, I know, right?
It is J Ryan 03, I believe. Underscore at the end of it.
Yep. There we go.
One thing I will say about the last few games, he has been a lot better. I mean, I saw one. I want to say it was Sofa score even gave him man of the match against Huddersfield. He's been last sort of week. He's been doing all right. To be fair to him.
Yeah, Button's a weird one. I think that. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Reading moving the ball forward. I've spoken about Button so many times, so I'm trying to work out what new or interesting I have to say about him. But Reading here was in possession in Rotherham's half.
If we could combine Button's sort of ball playing ability with Joel Pereira's shot stopping, that would be lovely, because Pereira's, despite only playing 4 games this season, is statistically, I think, one of the best performing goalies in terms of XG prevented. I think he's prevented 2 goals, which is in 4 games is quite good.
It's pretty good considering Button conceded 2 goals more than expected just in the Bolton game. So I know that those stats can be a little bit,
misleading for single game XG, but even so.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm, like my interest in advanced stats is kind of like I'm a crystal person just in the soccer world. I was like, I swear to you, there's energy in these progressive stats.
I promise you, yeah. He may be an Aquarius, but don't worry.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Tyler Bennon's going to score today because he's a Cancer.
gosh.
We got 10
Reece
minutes left in
James,
the half
not the
here.
Chelsea one with the throw. The actual one that can somehow stay fit, unlike the Chelsea
You know,
one.
I've just realized that you're using a New York server while we're watching a game at the New York Stadium.
The AESLU New York Stadium. Here's Clark Harris.
Rotherham pushing
Driving
forward
towards the
here.
goal. Oh,
Nibs clears up
good.
very
Recovery
well.
there and Garcia will clear forward. Kelvin with a chase on. Can't quite get there. And Reading will get the ball back in the midfield, though. Just put their foot on the ball, hopefully, and just have
See, that's
control.
where I want. Okay, so ball comes up to Kelvin there on the left side. And sometimes Calvin just takes like 2 touches more than he needs to. And that's kind
Yeah,
of like when the ball comes to him, and if you're facing your own goalkeeper when the ball comes to you as a forward, just play the bounce pass back to the guy who's in front of you and turn and run into the space.
run.
But Calvin here breaking into the box nicely. Oh, and he gets a shot just over the top
Oh,
with his left
unlucky.
foot.
Lucky goal.
This is what I said, but I
He's
do still think Kelvin has been probably the most improved player for Reading this year because I think he's been a legitimate left winger. I do
yeah,
think I've said a million times he's a left half space winger. He's not
rather than an
a
outright left winger that's going to
right,
try.
yeah. Like I don't think like I think you could find a better out and out like touchline
Yeah,
winger.
yeah, I agree.
But in terms of like breaking inside, like Kelvin's pretty useful.
He
And
is.
he always gets other teams to commit players to him. I don't know if it's because of his physical profile or what. But yeah, I like
That,
Kelvin.
that Birmingham game at the start of the season and even the Wigan game were definitely the two best that I've seen him. And I think you even saw, I think by the time we got to Wrexham, they started trying to double up on him straight
Hmm.
away. And that was something that you didn't always see with Kelvin.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where we need Chem kind of coming through just a little more. I haven't seen him do much, after my impassioned defense this week. I haven't seen him do much so far in this game, which is less than ideal. So
Yeah, he's
Rotherham
been
here with
very
a chance in the
autonomous.
box, but Craig able to clear it
Good
up.
starting
Rotherham
from here
almost
this
broke
season.
through there, kind of a scrappy one. And Bengay and the striker. Who's the number 12?
It is Wilkes, Marius
Wilkes.
Wilkes, formerly of Hull and Sheffield Wednesday.
Ah, okay, okay.
He does have an interesting face tattoo as well.
I did notice the face tattoo. Yes, it's an interesting one. Face tattoos are always a bit
Bold
interesting.
choice, I will say. A bold
Yeah.
choice. How confident are we still with our Michael Craig Player of the Season pick? Just as Reece James is about to throw this ball in.
um, I think I feel relatively good about it. I think I feel fine about it. I think he's going to play there longer than a lot of people expected, and even maybe, to be honest, I expected when I made that prediction. So, I think Michael Craig's a really useful player. I just think that he's smart above his years, Michael Craig. Like he makes good decisions. I do think sometimes that means that he overthinks it too.
Yeah.
I think he's a
That's
very
really
cerebral player, and there are times in football where you just need to be doing things on, for
instinct.
lack of a better term, vibes, and you just need to like be like command of space and decision making is what I mean. Like you need to be making decisions
I
incredibly
saw the
quickly.
other day he made 50 appearances for Reading, and to me that's gone really quickly because it didn't feel 2 minutes ago that he literally just started. So the fact he's made 50 appearances already is quite incredible. And to be honest, him playing at right back,
Oh,
I'm glad he's
fantastic
just
ball
getting more
forward. Oh, but it was just offside there.
feel.
Smith wins the
Yeah,
ball
the ball
with
stepped
when
up.
the ball's played forward and tries to slide Chem Campbell through there. Chem probably a half yard offside.
See
And Reading
Chem's
do
gone
get
with the
blown up.
Vicks on the chest kind of vibe.
Oh
With the
yeah,
big
yeah.
blue
Very
card on his head.
very total 90 era that.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't really see that too much
No,
anymore.
you don't anymore. And the long sleeve shirts. You don't. Not really a. It's always short sleeve with gloves these days, isn't it?
Well, and of course, you might know if you read the Athletic, the thing that the footballers are really all doing at the moment is the snooze. Where
Yeah.
they put it underneath their lip, and they use
It's,
that as the thing to give them a little boost, don't they? So
which again, nicotine supposedly, supposed
yeah,
to calming you down. I don't see the benefit of being super relaxed before a game. Personally,
no,
that's just
no. I thought it was more. See, it's funny because I thought it was the opposite. It's more like taking pre-workout when you're
no,
about to play.
no. But it's supposed to like calm you, and I was a bit like,
Chem comes back in there and plays a really good ball. See, this is what I'm talking about. Check two, the ball, and then Craig comes in. Ooh, and Kelvin absolutely cleaned out by the
I get
right
a
back
yellow card,
there
please.
from Rotherham, Rafferty, number 2.
Yeah.
Kelvin's still down on the ground, but I have a feeling that he's just taking
I'm just
the
under.
break.
Is
Really nice play from Chem Campbell and Michael Craig there, though.
that not a yellow card? Would you say a bit late
I
there?
would say that's probably a yellow card, but maybe I can see, like, I think they're conceding that he was going for the ball is basically what they're going with there, isn't it? So yeah, maybe a yellow card, but he's gotten away with one there a little bit.
Can Wingy read
Remember,
this?
guys, you can ask any questions that you may have in the chat, and we're happy to answer them. We got halftime coming up here, so if you do have any questions or any observations, anything at all, feel free to chuck them in the chat. But right now, Lewis Wing standing over another free kick just outside of Rotherham's box here.
Hopefully another fantastic set piece here. Test Dawson. I should imagine
Interesting that Garcia is standing nearby with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
Something
God.
off the training ground that's gone horribly wrong there. Wing sort of limply clips it over the top to. Oh dear, Wings had a bit of a shocker there in the last 30 seconds.
Oh.
Wings
It's
clips
one of those
so.
where he's tried it and no one was ready for it.
Yeah, Wings tried to sort of clip the ball over around the wall, but then for a Reading player to sort of latch onto and shoot, and it just has not worked at all. Rotherham, Reading just didn't look ready, and Rotherham just clear up easily. Wing then on the play back towards the Reading's half, while the ref talks to somebody in the Reading coaching staff. And he's given away a free kick
I
close
will
to
say
the.
that was a soft free kick. That was a very
It
soft free
is, but it's also like if I'm watching it back, I'm just kind of like, yeah, but like you come on now, like Wing had the chance to get his
kick.
body in the way and he didn't take it and cause himself an issue. Nibs again, the player to win a free kick and get out for Reading. I think that must be 3 or 4 now. He's won for Reading.
He's a very good recovery in the first half as well with the interception just on the edge of the box to win the ball back.
Yeah,
His work rate is incredible.
It really is, yeah. Like, I mean, like that. Nibs is genuinely another shout for like most improved because like he just keeps getting better. I think Nibs is. I mean, I know Lewis Wing is probably Reading's most skilled player, but I think Nibs is.
Talisman.
I think Nibs is Reading's best player personally.
Really,
I think he's the most useful.
I'd agree, and I don't know because to me, best players always take them out of the team. You're going to seriously struggle without them, and I think if you take Lewis Wing out of this team, we are done for.
That's fair. That's totally fair. That's a good question. Yeah, if anyone in chat, who is the best player in this Reading team? Lewis Wing, after scoring a wonderful free kick here in the first half, is certainly, I would say, the bookies' favorite for that. But
obviously, there's a lot to say. I know I just said you take the player out of the team that we're going to seriously struggle. A lot of obviously our depth isn't the best at the moment, but I'm talking. You take Binden out, not going to be great, but you probably find another player to play centre back and do an okay job. I think you take Wing out, you're really, really struggling for another number 6 that can do what Wing does to the same level as Wing. There's a yellow card left for Garcia, I believe.
Yeah, because the obvious thing you would do would be you would either just chuck Craig
Savage.
there, or you put Savage there, and I don't think either can offer the same thing. Though I do think that Craig is a really talented player.
Yeah, I agree.
So now the yellow card's coming out. So Garcia here has picked up a yellow card for the challenge, and Reading give away a free kick. We're getting towards the end of the first half here, and Reading defending their box. Garcia gave away a free kick just before you get into Reading's defensive third, basically.
Yeah, interesting that the yellow card came out there as well, I thought.
I know, yeah, after it didn't come out for Kelvin a moment ago, but what can you do? Ball moving forward, played just a little bit too far forward, and it goes out. Reading taking their time over the restart here for sure.
I think I've managed to get in front of you again here because I'm currently Rotherham are running down the left-hand side with Joe.
What are you on?
44-27 I've got to.
44-27?
Yeah.
Oh, you have ended up ahead of me again. Yeah, I'll whiz myself forward at halftime, and we'll go from there. So
New York just needs to sort out their Wi-Fi, to be honest with you, because this is incredible.
Wi-Fi is good in America normally. Yeah. Internet's pretty good over here.
some
Payments
dedication.
are weird. You just give them your card to a lady and she takes it off at the restaurant, and yeah, that's what happens. Then they bring the card back to you eventually. Oh, I did not realize that Clark Harris is the captain too.
No, I didn't either, to be fair.
Proper Steve Evansy captain
Yeah.
right there. It's a
You can
proper
tell he's
good one. Let me go put a shout out on the profile and ask for some questions
2 minutes left on
for
here at the
halftime
end of
here.
first half. As is that out for Rotherham? Yeah, it'll be a Rotherham corner. Clark Harris being captain screams to me like a Cantona being captain of Man United kind of vibe, where like Evans has done that to maybe try to keep him a bit happy. I was going to swing this corner in for Rotherham, just towards the back post, cleared by Kelvin. Chems underneath it and running on it to break as Garcia punts it upfield. That's one thing that confuses me about running set pieces is the fact we don't leave a single person forward.
You are, I completely agree with that. Like, I don't know if maybe that whole thing has kind of gone to
Just
the wolves now. Like, nobody does it
just
anymore.
always
But
makes
that some old, football knowledge, the deep knowledge, as it were. Sometimes you just need to get it out and that kind of stuff.
you just leave it out.
It does surprise me that there isn't just like one player left to compete for the ball, or at least just try and stop it coming right back towards you immediately.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
maybe
But
the
just
thought is that I think maybe defenses are better at like recycling that ball and making it much harder for like one
I,
presser to actually affect the game now.
yeah, I would always say that. Yeah, true. Yeah, I guess. One thing that I tell you, one learning that I have had recently is towards the start of the season, I was complaining about sort of, when the centre back will take the goal kick and roll it to the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I was complaining sort of why are they doing it? It's just pointless. Just get the goalies to punt it up. But then I didn't really. I was watching Showers of Tifo football and they kind of broke it down. And when they broke it down, it makes more sense about the fact that they're trying to invite a player on to press the
Yes.
goalie or the centre back, and then you're taking a player out of the game by doing that. And then I was like, oh, yeah, you know what? Makes sense.
Yeah.
Before I was always why just let Button take it and punt it or whatever, but that makes more sense as the halftime whistle goes. Good half from Reading. Good half from Reading.
Good
That
half from Reading.
fantastic. First
It's a good away performance so far,
It
isn't it?
is.
I
It
mean,
is
there's
very
nothing
good.
too flashy here, but they're remaining relatively stout. Rotherham have only really got one string to their bow in terms of how they're attacking. Like I said, they're trying to chuck that ball forward and find a second ball back, a wall pass back to the arriving, center mid or striker. But Nibs has come back and cleared up a lot, coming back towards his own goal, and Wing has cleared up a lot, facing Rotherham's goal. So yeah, I don't know if Reading necessarily deserve to be in front either, but they are.
Wings goal was the first shot. I'm pretty sure.
And that's the thing, like when you have players, this is again like why I'm relatively confident that Reading are going to do okay. And 10th, like you're saying, from Opta sounds about that could sound about right too,
Yeah,
especially if the
around that
ownership
region.
stuff drags on. But when you have players like Lewis Wing who are settled, in this squad, and they seem pretty happy. I do think that sometimes you can just pull out a moment of magic like that, and
Exactly.
the one thing I'll say. Okay, so I don't think Reading have turned into a long ball team. I do think there's a little bit of the Rafa Benitez sit in a 4-3-3, don't do a whole lot, take your chances with your excellent players about it. I think that we talked about it earlier this season, like Reading could be a lot more fluent in the final third. They seem to want to score goals in transition rather
Yeah,
than having to attack
build
a
it up.
packed defense. So I think that Reading can be a bit stodgy, and they just look to win games in flashes and moments sometimes, rather than really building and dominating the game, especially away from home. So I suppose that might be if we're if it's not really your kind of cup of tea in terms of football, then yeah, I can definitely see that being an issue. What did you make of the first half, Ryan?
What would I make of the first half? Professional away performance is how I would sum that up. It was not pretty by any stretch of the means, but it's one of those that we'll take. I mean, we're winning. Would I say Rotherham have been the better team and deserve to be winning? No. Would I
No.
say Reading are the better team and deserve to be winning? no, but here we are, 1-0 up. I mean, looking at the stats there, we only had one shot on target, two shots the entire half. The other one was Elliott's that went about 40 yards over the bar. But Rotherham, again, they didn't really create much. 7 shots, two on target for them as well.
Yeah.
It's I can imagine, given the situation that Rotherham find themselves in, with only winning 2 games this season, this is kind of an ideal position for Reading to be in. Hopefully, in the second half, with them being at home, as you were speaking about there, Rotherham will start pushing forward a lot more, start trying to search for that equaliser, and Reading will be able to hit them on the transition, on the counter, maybe even bringing a Kande on for a bit of speed and maybe try and nick a second from there. But as it stands, the game state for Reading going into the second half, I
Yeah.
think, is potentially a good one, which suits us. Just a question in there from Sam. Smith's been pretty naff this season, not even good at hold-up play, which is his whole game. I personally think that's interesting because I'd say hold-up play this season, there's been times where I've looked at him and gone, yeah, I'm not sure. But there's been a few games where he's definitely been very, very good with the hold-up play. I mean, there's been a couple of times in this game even where Smith's held it up very well, played a good ball through to Campbell, but he was unfortunately offside in this first
Yeah, that
half.
one was
But yeah,
unfortunate. It looks like I'm just looking at Smith now. So far, half of his passes are accurate, but he's only made 10 touches and 8 of them have been passes. So obviously, he's a man who's trying to pass first time, but he does have a key pass already. I agree that Smith hasn't been as good so far this year. But kind of what I was talking about earlier is I just think that they've changed the kind of run that he's being asked to make, and it's not a sort of near post thing right now, which is what I personally think that he thrives on is a run across the near post. So like let's say I don't know, I'll play around with this again real quick, but let's say that the white players of the Rotherham defense or whoever's defense, and let's say that Chem is on the ball here on the right hand side. Can you see that, Ryan?
the mic's just slightly covering it.
Yeah. Let me actually come back on over because I just found some good stats that I'm going to share in just a moment. But Smith, for me, during the preseason, was making a lot of runs. As let's say this is Smith, and the ball is coming over here. So if Chen will come here and deliver that ball, aiming for this near post up here, Smith was doing a lot of this sort of running across the front, and he was often very good at losing a defender or something like that, and just kind of sticking the ball in the back of the net with just like a little touch or something like that. And I'm not seeing that quite so much this year. Couple interesting stats from that first half at the New York Stadium. Reading are winning duels left, right, and center, which gives you an idea as to why Rotherham's very aerial attack isn't working. Reading have won. Let me just go and check
12
this
aerial
here.
duels, I'm going to say.
Far more duels. So ground duels, Reading have won 58% so far, but in the air, they are absolutely dominating. They have won 71% of their aerial duels so far in this game. Tells you all you need to know. Peter Rotherham can't do what they want to do, which is causing them
Yeah, I mean,
issues basically.
shows a bit of maturity from Reading as well, because there would have been a time where we struggled with sort of under the long ball as sort of our younger centre backs were getting used to that. But it's good to see them sort of dominating in the air.
Definitely, yeah. So I just took a look. Bindon is 4 for 5 in the air so far, and Benge is 3 for 3, perfect in the air so far. So yeah, Reading are dominating in the air, and that's causing Rotherham issues with how they want to play. But they did. I'm just looking back now at some of the chances from the first half there. Johnson Clark Harris did have a good header that Button had to tip over the top. So good, good save from Button there, actually, to keep Reading, just ticking over in an important
Rotherham have
moment.
definitely looked dangerous from set pieces, I'd say. There's been a few times where it's just gone
Yeah.
either just over, or obviously, as we said, Button's just had to make a good save.
And the best chance, I think, for Reading outside of, obviously the goal, because that was also from a chance that Wing could have put in the back of the net anyway. I would say Kelvin breaking down the left side and putting it just over the top. Unfortunately, falling onto his left foot there. So, someone's saying Smith has always been a very streaky player, which I do agree with that. He goes in little streaks where he scores 3 or 4, and then he sort of
quiet again.
Yeah, he goes quiet again after that. Mark asks how far out was Wing's free kick. really close, right within the like in the center D on the outside of the penalty box.
Just
So
seeing halftime scores popped up on my screen there. Interesting to see Bolton losing again to Shrewsbury.
yeah, they really can't work it out, can they? Sam here with another one. If we had Yeardom fit, we'd have a couple more chances. Craig is good in midfield and competent at fullback, but lack of pace lets him down. I don't think that's a bad point. Like I like Michael Craig at right back, as I've spoken about lots of times. But I actually, I think I spoke about it not on the pod, on the mailbag that you edited for me. Thank you. Earlier this week, whereby I'm interested to see what this team looks like with Yiadom back in it, because I know it's really unfortunate for Craig, but I do feel that he probably loses his spot once Yiadom comes back, even though
Right.
I think, Craig for player of the season at right back or whatever. Um,
One thing I would say on Craig and Yeardom as well is they're two, I'd argue, different fullbacks in the sense of Yeardom's going to look to attack the wing and attack the line quite a lot. I mean, we saw Carlisle away last season when he sort of got to the byline, put a ball across. Craig's not really going to do that as much. He's more being used for the rest defence of the team, where he's sort of always inverting inside and sitting in the middle. And he's a really good he's good at doing that. But would I argue, is he good going forward in the sense of getting the ball in from the wide? Probably not as good as what Yudom is, but we don't know how much this injury has also affected Yudom. That's one thing we've got to bear in mind as well. Obviously, as I mentioned, he is the wrong side of 30 now, so I'm hoping everything will still be fine, but definitely be there'll be a time where we've got to let him get back up to speed before expecting him to put in the Cafu performances that he did last season at points.
Yeah. Sorry, I am listening. I've been given a piece of information that perhaps Robbie Savage is in attendance today in the Rotherham at the Rotherham New York Stadium. So I hope maybe Charlie will be coming on this in the second half. We'll have to see.
Hopefully
Andrew,
for
go ahead.
Carol.
Sorry, Ryan.
I was going to say, hopefully for our podcast hope's sake, that Charlie Savage comes on as well, because I'm sure even at 1-0 up, he'll be asking for that substitution. Shall we say?
Exactly. Yeah, we're Ben in spirit today, asking for that. Andrew asks, who would you want taking your free kicks? Wing, Smith, or Wing, Swift, or Hart? I've got Sam Smith on the brain now. It's a good question. The answer is Ian Hart. I'm sorry. The answer is Ian Hart.
Yeah, I'd say he's definitely more clinical around the edge of the box. However,
you're a bit younger than me, yeah. So these other two here are, and I love Swift. He's not on the wall right now, but yeah.
I remember Harty always stuck in my mind as sort of the set piece taker from the team I was watching when I was growing up. But yeah, probably just as Ian Hart, isn't it?
Proper old school set piece taker.
Yeah, Swift. I remember Coventry at home in the COVID season. Swift's back one from about 40 yards. That was a sensational free kick. Wings obviously fantastic as well, but I'd say he's probably I hate to say it, I'd say he's probably the worst out of the three, but he's still quite good.
Yeah, I think Swift is it's a really interesting question, actually, that probably needs a bit more diving into at some point.
Yeah,
Swift versus Wayne.
Stats to see who scored more out of all of them.
I know Swift's better with the outside of his boot. He plays a lot of very nice kind of passes like that. No, yeah, it's a good question. Swift on the bench for West Brom. Yeah, I know he's not playing as much as he could. I think he's a bit lightweight, Swift. That's part of his issue.
Yeah.
And I think you're always going to struggle, especially once you start to get a bit older and you don't have like the pace or anything like that. Got some questions about Wareham here and how he looks and whether he should be given more time, which is a really, I don't know, tricky question. Scored a nice goal against the West Ham U21s in the Car Cup, and I think that was really needed for Wareham. He needed to get a goal nice and early on, and sort of just have that. I don't know, just have that like off his back. But yeah, I do feel Wareham. How do I feel about Wareham? I think that he's another one who's benefited a little bit from not having had that much competition in the last little while. I've been starting to wonder about whether Kelvin moving over into the middle would be the first backup for Smith at this point, but no, I think it probably is still Wareham.
I'm I'm always a bit frustrated with Warren because I understand he's still young and developing his game, but as Sam said here, that he's been very, he has looked a little bit lightweight when he comes into the senior team, and yeah, I'm willing to give him a chance, but again, I think there's a massive drop off in quality if you go from Smith to Wareham,
Yeah.
and every time he's come on, he doesn't. I don't know if it's because he doesn't get enough minutes or whatever, but he never seems to get involved as much. I'd
A
say, and
striker would be in the start of the year. I had a left wing very high up on my list of things we needed, and a striker is incredibly high up on my list right now. Ryan, hold down the fort here for 1 minute as Rotherham come on out and Reading are making their way out as well. I'm going to grab myself another cup of coffee because it is early here.
nice
But
early
here's a
start.
good question from Sam, so you can answer that
Is
while I.
Garcia our next elite academy product?
Good
Good
question.
question. I would I call him the next elite academy product? Certainly has potential to, but I think it very much depends on the financial situation. I think we could see a situation in a few years' time, well, not even a few years' time, a few months' time, even, where if we're looking for, if someone comes in with a bid for him, I can imagine us letting him go, and obviously it will impact it, and he might not develop as much. I do think he has potential to be the next bright star out of this academy, though. He's definitely been the one that's impressed me the most out of sort of the crop of players recently coming up. Merck, my favourite Reading players all time, Shane Long. Currently, I probably will say Lewis Wing or Tyler Binden. I'm a big fan of those two, to be honest. But yeah, Garcia definitely up there. I'm interested to see how much his defensive side develops as well. I think we might even consider moving him forward a little bit more because I do think sometimes he is a little bit lightweight defensively. As Reading will get the second half underway here with Kelvin. We're speaking the first half about Rotherham having a um, kickoff routine, looking like we've got something set up here. As Kelvin will go
All right.
back to Craig, and Craig will punt forward.
Tonka's sitting right outside the office.
Not sure if the viewers would have seen Tonka's little cameo appearance in the edit. As Rod, that's offside, surely. Yeah, offside.
Got
Tonka had a
two
lovely little
bulldogs.
cameo appearance.
And I got two bulldogs, and uh, one of them is I got a big boy and a small little girl, and the girl Maisie hangs out with her mom all the time, and the
Oh,
boy Tonka hangs out with me, but he can't right now. He makes too much noise. Anyway, Rotherham breaking down the right hand side here. Ryan, where are you at? I'm at 45, 58.
I'm 45, 48.
Okay.
I think I've got
I'm going to
behind him,
leave
but
it though for a second because
yeah.
yours got ahead of mine then eventually. Is it just buffering every now and again?
It buffers, so I'll go ahead and then it'll buffer and it'll slow me right down again, basically.
Yeah, that's fair. Where am I from? I'm
Right.
from England. I'm from Southampton, but I would refuse to support Southampton because that's my dad's team. That's like my whole family's team. And
So,
I'm like, no, I'm a Reading fan.
can I ask? Because I've always wondered this: how did the Reading thing come about with yourself? So, obviously, with your family being Southampton fans, how was it? You lived in and around Reading, and
My dad was always my dad's a pretty good football player. And
yeah,
Reading here, by the way, just spoke while again. There's going to be a little delay as Rotherham have a free kick coming into the box. Kelvin booked for the challenge, and again, where are the yellow cards for the Millers? But
yeah,
sure. So let's say okay, at 46-18 at one point, people are all over the place with the thing. How did I become a Reading fan? My dad was always my coach, and
yeah,
I did not want this, like because we're already seeing each other in a football sense all week, and I did not want to support the same team as him
same
as well.
team.
So I went on a rampage when I was young. I briefly supported Liverpool, Man
Good lord,
U, all these kinds of teams, and then I decided that I was a Reading fan because that was where they started taking us to you take your youth games
yeah,
like you take your youth teams to like games and stuff. So we went to Reading games. So that's why I became a Reading fan.
oh, very nice,
Give it something a
very
little
nice.
bit different. Yes, I live in the USA. I'm just outside of Portland, Maine, which is a lovely
Not,
town. And we
lots of
are
good
about
views
to get.
away.
I just bought my season ticket actually for the Hearts of Pine. which I'm very excited about. So I've got a season ticket for the first time in about 10 years here, which is very exciting. So we've got 18 games next year in the USL 1. So anyway, enough America, enough Ross. What were you saying? Sorry, Ryan.
I was literally about to ask how does the kickoff times match up with Reading, but then I realised time zones.
Yeah, most of them are going to be at like 7 o'clock in the evening, so we're going to be all right. We can't. I told this to Ben on the podcast. It's quite interesting. We can't start our season. So the season starts in March.
Rotherham with a chance. Cleared. Sorry.
What are you on again? I'm on 48-36.
48-26.
Cool. Yeah. So so the Portland Hearts of Pine. Oh, see, that's the ball that Sam Smith should be getting. What's going on there?
I will be waiting. Who we got here? Powell with the cross in from the left. Oh no.
So the ball's come in low from the left, and this is the kind of ball that I really want Sam Smith to be getting more often. It's driven across the box, kind of into that corridor of uncertainty. It bounces, I mean, like a yard or two away from the near post, and the Rotherham player, all he needs to do is just get a foot on it and redirect it in, and it's in at the near post. That's the exact kind of ball that Sam Smith is good at finishing, and that we haven't seen nearly enough. So yeah, that's not a great way to start the second half there for Reading.
Sam Nombe with a goal.
He's changing his boots.
Changing his boots. That's
an interesting one.
Yeah, Sam Nombe grabbed the goal for Rotherham in midweek as well when they beat Cambridge 1-0.
Another big
start there for Reading. It's very, very good crossing. That's an interesting reaction to changing the goal. Steve Evans whispering something in his ear. I'm sure Nombe.
He's got a word with Smith as he goes over it too. He said something. Not 100% sure what. There's always more spice on a football field than is obvious. Well done, Ben Elliott. Ben Elliott there winning the ball right from the kickoff, just using his body, getting in the way there, doing really well. All right. Well, look, Reading, I said at halftime, do they deserve to be 1-0 up? No, not necessarily. But you would, hope that you can keep it a little bit tighter than that. But it's a good ball, and I just feel that area is so dangerous.
Horrible to defend in, horrible for a goalkeeper as well, because it's probably not quite long enough for you to come and claim.
Right.
But it's
a sloppy start here from Reading, and Garcia's been dispossessed again. But Elliott able to win the ball in midfield, and Wing plays that ball forward. Smith here running onto the ball, trying to tie up his defender here. Oh, but he can't quite find a clean shot, and the ball goes underneath the defender, cleaned up by the goalkeeper.
Sam asking who should be dealing with that, and Bengay.
It's a couple of things, like the crush needs to be stopped. I know that's a really easy and obvious thing to say, but it is what it is. It's a really, really difficult ball to kind of like defend when it's going to drop like right in that sort of area. But yeah, I guess Mbenge on that side is the one who has to get ahead of his defender there.
Interesting rotation there from Rotherham as well, because Powell's actually playing centre midfield and Nombe is supposed to be starting out wide. So Powell obviously dropping out into the wide space and Nombe attacking the box as well. As we get another close up on Steve Evans
in his training gear.
Jesus Christ. That's Craig will throw the ball forward.
Elliott's the only one who's come out of the changing room here for Reading, really, so far. It's a slow start for Reading here, definitely having some issues.
Ruben's going to be having a bit of a word here with them, I think. Good from Elliott. That's not a foul, right?
Yeah, they need one of those. Yeah, Sam makes a good point. Like, you can't stop every cross. Some of them are going to get through, which is 100% correct. I think that, like I said, Mbenge had won all three of his aerial duels in the first half, but he hadn't won all of his ground duels, which is, why I didn't mention it. Look out for that from analysts, guys. They're sneaky bastards. But I think it's a really good cross. I'll put that out there. Like I think
It is
that's a really
very
good
good match
cross.
quality
It's really hard to defend a ball that's like dropping right at that spot.
at that speed. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess Mbenge has to get across.
Ooh.
Sometimes execution's good. It's like that Ollie Watkins goal against the Netherlands
Yeah.
in the summer. Sometimes the defender does a pretty good job, and the execution from the striker is just really
It's good.
good.
Yeah. There's
It is
certain
what
things in
it
football you
is.
just can't account for. Moments of quality, obviously. I know it's a fairly basic observation, but the amount of times that Kevin De Bruyne or someone like that will put out something ridiculous, and there's only so much you can do, really, isn't there?
Right. And it's not going to happen quite as often. But again, like we've got a goal in this game because we've got a player who can
With
whip
a
it
real
into
moment
the
of
top
quality.
corner, when he gets half a chance. So, yeah, good point, Sam. I do think that's a good point. Like you always get the like the idea that you should be stop every cross at source and all those kind of things. But like, yeah, you
Sometimes
can't do that for every single cross that's going to come into the box. And
the
teams
Arsenal
do
fullback
like change. There's like a cross is a cross is a cross. That's not the case. Like there are many different ways to cross the ball
many
and
different
areas you
players
can
like
aim
in
for.
areas.
Right, exactly. If I was game planning against Reading, what I would do is I would put a lot of crosses in between Mbenge and Craig because I think that's where Craig is a little bit weak
Agreed.
as
That
a
goes
right
quickly.
back. Is that I don't think he's quite the best, not necessarily just aerially at like communicating with Mbenge quickly about where his man
Who's
is
where?
and what support you need. Like Mbenge, you'll often some of the times when he misses headers it'll be like I see that he's like backing up towards the ball to try and jump for it, and Craig is behind him, and that's where Craig needs to jump in, realize the situation, and support rather
Yeah.
than being like, "Oh, what if the left back comes?" Like, don't worry about that, Michael. Just get on with it.
Oh, Bindon. Oh, that was bad. Did you see that?
Where are you
Was
at now? 54,
I'm
55.
54. Oh, you would have just seen that about 20 seconds ago, where he's literally just spooned it off the pitch
Oh
without
yeah,
terrible
yeah.
clearance.
So what are you
I'm,
at now?
I'm 54, 45.
All right, I'm gonna pause up a little bit, and then I'll get it back
Rafferty.
going again.
That'll be another throw for Rotherham there. It's like they're trying to set up for a long throw, but then he never throws it long. So I don't
Yeah,
know whether he's got this long throw in his locker or they're just, I don't know. They're
they
just
might be trying to get the cross into the back post again, like kind of that area that I was saying. Oh my word. I don't know if you've seen this yet.
Oh, it's bobbling around in the box. Cross coming in from the right hand side. Oh, there's so many people. Three Button. What are you doing? Oh my god.
And it's in the back of the net.
Oh,
And it
David,
is
David,
2-1 to
David.
Rotherham. Not
Just as
what
I was
you
saying,
want.
he's had a good few games as well. He goes and does that.
Well, I don't know if that, again, like this is the exact spot that I was saying that I would target if I was Rotherham. Like that spot between Mbenge and Craig just looks a little weak to me in terms of aerial defense. See, look, again, so Mbenge is dealing with three players there, with Button having to try and push through all three of them, whereas Craig is just sort of standing on the back player rather than getting
Not
involved.
really
Maybe
doing
he's
much.
being held a little bit by Clark Harris, but that for me is an issue area for Reading in terms of trying to win some aerial duels.
Little,
Reading want a free kick. They want they want to be bailed out there by the ref, but it's just not
I
going to
don't, there was
happen.
no foul on
And
that.
there's Rotherham 2, Reading 1. Yeah, Button blocked off by the Rotherham players behind. Again, three players. I'm not sure what's happened there with Reading. There are three players on the back post waiting to head that home, and Craig holding Johnson, Clark Harris right behind him. So, yeah,
Not great. Yeah,
not
looking back on it, looking at the replay back, yeah, I think you're right. To be fair, Sam, the Button difficult to get across there. Definitely. Oh, all right.
Yeah, Wing
Pick
wanted
yourselves
a
up.
free kick for a Button for that one. Oh dear, Sam Smith's got a yellow card. It looks like for arguing about the free kick. Oh dear, Michael Craig's given the ball away in a really dangerous spot here. Reading really come out of
They've
in
not
the
got
second
out.
half,
Yeah,
not looking good, and Button has just made
Rotherham
an
behind.
absolutely fantastic save to stop it turning to 3-1 here.
Wow, very good save. Good strong hand that from Button.
I'll
Good
pause it
strong
up
hand.
just another little second here. I'm on
Sorry,
57-23.
I'm 57-19 now.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah, Lee. Thank
Ndombe
you.
It's been great since
Thank
the
you for the reminder, Lee. We did lose 4-0 at Rotherham away last time.
Yeah, it's true. We're gonna stop doing live streams because it means that the other team score a whole bunch of goals. Last time out it was what, 5 from Bolton. So yeah, Nombe's really been good for Rotherham so far this half, and I mean it's taken them 10 minutes to turn this whole game around.
Steve Evans' half-time team talk must have worked well.
Yep. Ball coming right back into the same spot for Rotherham, and this time Kelvin is in that spot, which, I mean, yeah, they needed to move another tall player into there. Bindon getting caught in his own box, getting maybe a little bit lucky there for the referee.
That was not a foul.
I did not think that was a foul either. Yeah, I think Bindon just got exceedingly lucky. Smith does well to win the ball going forward, though, and Chem trying to move with it, but just gets bodied off the ball and then concedes a foul. Not good play from Chem Campbell. And this has probably been one of his worst games so far, unfortunately.
He's literally been non-existent.
Yeah, he's done very, very little for Reading so far.
I forget we've only got him to January as well. I always assume he's here till the end of the season, but no, January. Which worrying.
Don't worry, Sam. I don't think it's you that's causing Reading to concede goals. I think it's shelling the back post that's the main reason.
Gosh. Be interested to see what changes Ruben makes here. I'd be inclined to seeing if there's anything we could do with Chem. Maybe bringing Akande on instead.
It looks like they've decided that they need extra help to deal with the aerial balls coming in right now. So I'm seeing Kelvin ending up in that area a lot to try and help out. He was the one who headed away the first corner after Rotherham's second goal, which went straight back to the exact same spot. So remember when I was saying if I were Rotherham, I would just shell that little space between Mbenge and Craig? That seems to be working. You just don't quite have, the personnel that you need sometimes. Like I was going to talk about this a little bit at halftime, but like it's funny how at the same time as all of this like fancy modern football stuff coming in, set piece like routines and stuff have become really popular, which has developed a need for big tall brutes. Which like Arsenal are a team of big tall brutes. Yeah, exactly. So like it is quite funny.
Tony
just how those two things
really onto something back in the day.
Right, exactly. It's a battering ram with a calculator added to it.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what's going on.
Some may say Arteta is a combination between Pep and Pulis.
Pretty
much. Because Pulis was playing those 4 centre-backs back in the day. Now here we are.
Do you think Sellers is doing his best Pulis impression with not with how Reading are playing, but with how he's dressed today?
Good point. With a baseball cap. Very good point. Tracksuit.
Well,
here's a question for you, Ross. If you were, you are a manager, you are a coach, but if you're the manager of Reading, what would be your attire? Are you dressed down or are you smart?
I'm a tracksuit coach, for sure. I'm not a suit coach. I don't really own suits. I had a wedding last weekend. I was like, what on earth do I wear? The pandemic kind of cleaned out the last of my, formal wear. It's just a quick note. It's just after the hour mark here. It's calmed down a little bit since the 2 Rotherham goals, and Rotherham are stepping off a little bit more.
I can imagine them sitting back in a bit of more of a low block or mid block now to try and sort of see this game out.
Well, it's an interesting one because it's just 2 4-3-3s against each other. They're very Johnson Clark Harris just getting into it there with Elliott a little bit off the ball. Just keeping an eye on that. Yeah, Reading with some possession for the first time here in the second half. You can't expect Reading to win every week with a young academy team. Lee says, sometimes little mistakes are going to be made, but I don't necessarily think those are, those goals are from mistakes. I think they're from identifying an area of weakness and exploiting it well. I think there's Calvin almost getting the ball across the box there. Let's focus on this Reading attack. Chem on the left side here, crossing the ball over, and Sam Smith, the target at the far
Wilson
post,
had.
but not able to pick out a Reading player with the ball
On
back in.
that academy team point, one thing that I didn't consider until the last, I think it would have been the Leighton Orient game that I was going through. You look at the starting 11 for Reading at the moment, you've got David Button, Lewis Wing, Sam Smith, Harvey Nibbs, Chem Campbell. Those five are the only five that have completed more than one season of professional football in the
Right.
team, I think. Last season, obviously, being Elliot Craig's first one, Bindon even was probably his first year in men's football. Amadou sort of been in
Yep.
and out. They're slowly playing like 45, 46 games the first time. And yeah, I suppose that's one thing we don't consider as Reading fans sometimes is that the main core haven't played more than one season of adults, like full-time senior football.
Yeah. If I was Lewis Wing, I feel like I'd be exhausted with just the amount of
Oh, to be
football I'm
honest.
playing and, everything that's going on with the club. And he's a young father as well. And yeah, just he's having to support all of these young players around him all the time. It's
And he's
lucky
not
that Tyler
necessarily himself
Bindon
either.
aged from 17 to 26 in 1 year. That helped out.
It did. It did. That man is the oldest 18-year-old I think I've ever seen.
Ben Elliott losing the ball in midfield there and gets a little bit lucky. The Rotherham players had a bit of a mare as he's
Sid
trying
Button
to.
moving into the back four there as well, and sort of I know it was still in the running box, but stepping up alongside to try and build that overload.
Yep, yep, yeah, all the time. Yeah, Button does like to be on the ball. How are you right now? At 63-58.
I'm literally 63-57. I've just had
Okay, perfect.
Cohen
Bramall
Bramall,
coming on here. It's the wrong
former
side
Reading
of
target. I
the
want
what,
to say
sorry?
former Reading transfer target, I believe. Cohen Bramall. He was at
Oh,
Colchester.
okay. I don't normally keep up with transfer targets. I'm always like, nah, I'll analyze them once they get to the team. It's fine. I know there were some others like Chem who they were looking at around that time, and I was always like, eh.
Yeah, I think Bramall was a last year thing. I think we got Mola
Hmm.
instead. Which I wonder how Clinton's getting on at Bristol Rovers. Actually, I haven't been keeping up too much.
Yeah, that's a good question. Clinton Mola, obviously released by Reading, somewhat surprisingly at the
I,
end of
I,
last year. I
I
think
would
some people have been all right with it.
I was gonna say I would argue I would say it's less Reading released, more I think he may have thought he could get somewhere better.
That may have also been the case. He might have thought he could get more, a little bit more money elsewhere, or a better contract, with a more secure club. Ben and I have talked about on the pod a million times. You can't begrudge anyone leaving
Never,
at the moment
never
with
can't
Reading.
begrudge anyone. Even when Aziz went, can't begrudge him. Even though if it's only to someone like Millwall, still a step up. Still a
This
step up.
game has really gone a little flat in the last 5 minutes. Just as a heads up, that's why we're talking about anything other than the game. But
I'm gonna
here's
do.
Garcia building up on the left side. Rotherham made a change just a few moments ago, bringing Bramall on. So yeah, it looks like they're still sitting in a four though, so they haven't committed another man to defense or anything like that.
At risk of sounding like one of the fellow, I just see this crossing from Elliot, one of our fellow podcast presenters. I think this game needs Charlie Savage personally.
Yeah, I think Elliott's lost the ball or given away a free kick a few times. You can argue that Savage does that as well, like from time to time. But hey, if you're not
Ability
losing
as well.
anything, right? Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Savage come on for Elliott here, unless Ruben feels that Elliott's placement or ability to collect the ball is what Reading need, but I don't think it's necessarily working for them right now. So yes, Savage,
Bit of energy in
because
the
we're
midfield.
not getting into the box super often. So just to have another weapon to shoot from, a little bit
Outside of the
further
box.
away.
Stupid foul for Bindon to give away there. He's
Yeah,
over the top
that's a
of him.
silly one.
I would argue Akande probably on for Campbell as well.
Yeah, Kande's going to come on for Chem Campbell here. I would agree. And Sam says Mo is getting on pretty good. Apparently, he feels like he just came good at the end of the season. Then he went, which I agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was getting
he
even
was a
better.
very skills player. He had the odd period where like you'd have one or two games, you're like, yeah, Clinton's actually playing really well, but then other periods where you're like, ooh. I mean, Wickham at home, I will never forgive him for.
Yeah, I remember, and that was when Chem Campbell made him look a bit silly.
Yeah,
But I do remember the start of the season. It was remarkably. It just
like,
looked like a man who hadn't played in a long time.
yeah,
I think was
ball into the back
the main
post,
thing.
Button playing catches.
Button claims it well. Rotherham free kick there, about halfway, almost halfway through the second half here. And yeah, it's just
This,
all aerial.
this Pow is a fantastic crosser, passer of the ball, and they're number 7. Is that a foul
See,
for Reading?
yeah, no, I agree. I just think that Reading could do with one more useful player in the air in that back four at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh my word! The Rotherham player has gotten up and
Oh
he's
God! Oh
really gotten
Garcia!
into something with Garcia here. There's something going on. Garcia's been sent
Oh, he's
off.
already on the yellow. Oh no!
Wait,
Oh
no,
God.
Calvin's been sent off.
What?
Calvin's been sent off here.
Where's Kelvin been sent off?
My word, I don't know if it's a booking or a straight
What?
red, but
No, no, no. It
yeah,
was a yellow. It was a yellow to
Calvin.
red. They were both on a yellow. I thought it was
Yeah,
Garcia.
that's what. Yeah, I
Garcia.
wasn't sure. Yeah, you're right. Garcia and Calvin both on yellows, and I wasn't sure who had actually gotten the thing, but it's
What on earth happened?
Calvin who's off here for Reading, and that is bad news.
So what I
Double
saw
yellow.
was Garcia pushing a Rotherham player on the chest, and I thought he was the one being sent off.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, there might have been a stamp or something. The Rotherham player got up very angry very quickly.
this isn't very good. What's happened here
So
then?
someone's okay. So the Rotherham player,
Rafferty's got Garcia in a headlock.
yeah. And then the
I
Kelvin's run over and he's pushed Rafferty over, and Kelvin's the one who's gotten sent off for it.
nah. That's okay. I mean, it's stupid from
It's got to
Kelvin.
be. It's silly from Kelvin, but it's got to be both of them, really. At least one of the, the other one's at least got to get booked.
Agreed. Because Rafferty's
That
got Garcia
is,
in a headlock there.
yeah. And I mean, that's why Garcia's reacted the way that he has, is because the Rafferty's got Garcia in the headlock. So that is really, really poor.
That's going to affect us now. It's going to be very much. Rotherham got Powers wide on the left again, out for a throw in.
All right,
What
so yeah.
James says, why don't they play 3-5-2 away from home? Love to know your thoughts. I think the 3-back kind of died with Paul Ince, to be honest with you.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. I think
Wince
if
just players for it
you're
either.
changing the structure too often, then it becomes more difficult for all of the young players to come on, keep the faith. Like, you never know with football, anything can happen. We've seen weirder things. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, from the ref's angle, it looks like Kelvin's floored him, but from the TV, you can see that it's not it. Yeah, that's a difficult one. I don't think the ref can see that Garcia's been put in a headlock either, which is,
Very annoying.
why Kelvin has reacted the way that he has.
Just scrolling through some of the comments on Twitter, and a lot of
Yeah.
people saying the formation doesn't work. A few comments.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's probably some alterations at this point that could be made that could improve things. But again, I mean, Reading have just won 2 games in a row, and they've come back from a goal down against Huddersfield, right? So, yeah.
Who knows? Couple changes here for Reading. Chem Campbell and Ben Elliott have gone off. Charlie Savage and Jaden Wareham has come on.
All right. Well, there's the Ben is the manager after all. Then there's the Ben changes that he would
That's
write.
where he is today. That's why he couldn't make the live stream. Ruben's got a week off, and they've replaced him with Ben apparently. Would this be a change in shape? Do you reckon then with Wareham and Smith up top together?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I have a horrible feeling you're about to see something that you maybe don't want to hear about. But I guess no, sorry, they've gone down to. They've gone down to. They've gone down to 10. I was about to call it a 4-2-2-2, but obviously it can't be because we don't have enough players on the field in the first place to make that happen.
Smith and Wareham linking up very nicely there.
Yeah, Nibs driving forward here into the box. Yeah, you're right. Smith and Wareham getting together nicely, and Wareham immediately there with a shot that has to be deflected around for a corner. So Wareham with a good impact here immediately. I expect they'll play something like a 4-3-2 now to try and attack.
Savage and Nibs are going to have to cover quite a lot of ground, I can imagine.
Yes, I would think so. I wonder if Nibs will have been moved over to the right-hand side or if he'll continue on the left. Interesting idea to have Savage on the left, but hey, we'll see how it works. Oh, and that's
That's a tumour.
Bindon, who's got his foot on the ball there, but it's gone up and over the goal. 18 minutes left here for Reading to try and find something, but it has gone a little bit pear-shaped, much like Steve
Oh,
Evans in his training gear in the second half.
oh gosh. You know,
I've
you
been
asked me before
working on the old game, just by the way. As soon as I saw him,
you asked me before the game who was the biggest person, like in terms of the Reading team, from when I've been sort of filming and bits around
yeah,
the.
yeah.
Tony Warner is huge, by the way, the goalie coach. He is
Okay,
bloody huge. I walked in at the same time as him, and oh my, like it just tall and built like a brick outhouse.
yep, yep. Hey, you got to be if you're a goalkeeper coach, right?
Exactly, exactly. Andrew says I honestly can't remember the last time we came from behind with 10 men.
I can't remember the last time we went down to 10. Reading had a weird little stretch where they didn't have anyone sent off for a very, very long time. Like literally,
I
they may have
can't.
gone an entire season at one point without having a man sent off. And Benge was sent off from the bench last year.
Yeardon was sent off at Derby, which was a disgrace. I remember
Oh,
that.
yes, he was. Yep, yep.
Absolute disgrace, that one, because the bloke pelted the ball at his arm for about 1 yard, and the referee gave him a second yellow.
It's the exact same spot over and over again for Rotherham. They're just aiming for that back post from every single corner. And so again, like that's the issue. Like you got to find ways to if you're seeing that teams are doing the same thing to you over and over again, you got to find a way to
Had
kind
to
of game
adapt.
plan your way out of it. And obviously, you might be leaving space elsewhere, but if you're getting hurt over and over again in the same spot,
Gonna throw a wild card solution to that problem and say maybe Amadou for Harley Dean, and whilst I'm
I
in
was just gonna
education,
say if you're gonna say Harley Dean
yeah,
coming up here, I think it's sad that Dorset got hurt because I would have liked to see Dorset actually play some center back this
yeah,
season and see if he can
yeah.
still do that because that's what he did for. I believe that's what he did for. Was it Rochdale Town?
Rochdale only one
Yeah,
young
yeah,
player this season. I think.
and he
Oh,
had a good he had a
young
good
Mark.
season with them.
Yeah, Dorset's actually been playing for us for quite a long while, hasn't he? Because I forget he made his debut under it was either Gomez or Bowen he made his debut under in the cup back
It
in
was a long
2019.
time ago. Yeah, he's been around for a long. Another one who just we don't have other options, so he's been around for a
Been
very
around,
long time.
yeah.
Reading have
Savage
a
here with
corner
the ball.
kick here with 15 minutes to go, and they're just slowing things down a
Swinging
little
across
bit.
the back post, straight over Wareham's head, and it'll be out for a goal kick.
Whereabouts are you at now?
75-33.
Okay, you've gotten ahead of me again somehow.
I
The
don't get this.
106 team didn't have a red all season apparently.
Did we know? Oh.
Which yeah, I don't think they had. I think there was a year not that long ago when they didn't have a red.
There's something about Reading that, again, I'm not trying to be biased here with Reading being my club, but we'd never seem sort of a dirty team, if you will, that will get red cards like a lot. We're very few and far between. I know obviously we've got a red card here, but yeah,
Not
not
ideal.
no, no. Um,
Nibs has
oh,
come up a little bit lame
oh,
here from
oh,
a challenge. It's good though to have Nibs on the field because it shows us what the kit looks like in long sleeve variety.
okay.
It looks good. I like it.
I do prefer short sleeve over long sleeve with shirts, though.
Okay, fair enough. I've got both for Reading shirts, and I like both, so I can't complain too much. This is going to be a difficult one for Reading here to really make much. I'm going to go check the second half stats here, but the momentum chart is just not good
All in
reading
Robin's
for
favour.
Reading at all. They had a small piece of momentum right before the Kelvin red card, and since then just really nothing.
Rotherham really
Sophie
playing into
Scorer
the game's
put the red
uh,
card down to an argument.
an argument.
Yes,
An
an
argument.
argument.
Okay, that's very nice. A
Just
small disagreement, as Shimon. Now, Rotherham are very much playing into the gamesmanship now. I mean, Dawson's been booked for time wasting, and now we've got one of their players on the floor, despite seemingly not being touched. So,
Reading
what do you
actually
think?
with more of the ball here, by the way, in the second half, but they're just not creating chances at all. Rotherham with two big chances, 8 shots, and yeah, but Reading Buttons had to make 2 saves already
We
this
had a
half.
shot in the second half, like on target.
That's the thing. No, I don't think so. We've had 2 total shots apparently, but I hardly remember them. Or 3,
Good,
sorry.
good point, Andrew, about Joey Vandenberg. That man was a liability. I did forget about him as Rotherham attack, and Bengi's going to come across the cover. Nothing stupid, please, Amadou. Nothing stupid. Good tackle.
There you go. Where are you at now? I'm at 77.58.
I'm a second just behind you, I believe.
Okay, cool. We're back to ish. Smith having to drop so deep to get some touches there. Wareham now, I guess, being up top gives us some options. Looks like Savage is very far forward for Reading right now, by the way.
Unless that's what Sir Savage and Nibs are advanced 8 says, my stream freezes on Sam Smith. Oh, we're back. We're back.
Sellers and having a bit of a pop at Mbenge, trying to get him to go a bit faster with the restart here, not letting Rotherham get themselves set up again. It's just not quite good. Wareham there on the edge of the box, just trying to ping one back and forth, but Mbenge is the person who's ended up on the right side, trying to put a cross into the box. And Mbenge is many things, but he's not a winger, and that's just been proven.
Sorry, Rush, you're going to have to just talk.
No, that's all right. Reading here really had some. Reading haven't been great today, like by any stretch of the imagination. And I think that through the international break now, we're going to get some questions about whether this particular structure is working and things like that. Look, I think my perspective on this game so far is that they've kept it tight as much as they could, but Rotherham are a big team and they've worked out how to exploit an issue in Reading's squad, which is the space between Mbenge and Craig. In the first half, Reading were winning a disproportionate number of aerial duels, so something like 70%. And that meant that they were holding, Rotherham at arm's length in terms of those, balls being delivered into the box and things like that. But now, just 2 moments of really good class with the either the game planning or, with this in the case of the second goal, or just a really good cross in the case of the first goal, have caused Reading issues here. And then also, I think Reading have issues with defending crosses to the back post in general that can be exploited by teams, and Rotherham certainly aren't the only team who've done that. 10 minutes to go, though, here. Reading a man down, but playing with 2 strikers, something that a lot of players, a lot of fans have wanted to see so far this season. Savage and Nibs also very far forward here, and Reading just kind of going with a back 5 almost with wing very deep.
I'm back in now, by the way. I'm on 80-25.
All right, I'll pause that for you for just a minute then. Oh, Ben was on a EFL stream or something like that a few weeks ago, and so I was always behind him.
EFL stream?
Oh, yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. Supporters, community trust, or all those kinds of fun things.
Interesting. Very interesting.
There you go, yeah. So this is going to be an interesting little rewatch in terms of Wareham, I think, because he's already been more active on the ball than we often see when he comes on. So I wonder if being that there's more space for him out there with fewer players on the pitch, maybe that's helping him, and maybe that gives an idea of how he should be used. But yeah.
Jordan Hugo coming on for Rotherham, another player that I remember Reading. Well, we were in the Championship at the time, being linked to. Clark Harris being subbed off. We got McWilliams coming on as well.
Hugo's been around a few clubs in that sort of yo-yo Championship League One areas. Is it Joe Hugo or Jordan?
Jordan. Joe's the young one that plays for Wigan.
Okay.
Hugo
Lots of Hugos, yeah. Let me see. He's played for, my word.
As well.
There's Journeyman, and then there's whatever on earth this is from Hugo. Okay, so Hugo's been in Rotherham since 2023, but played for Whitby, Port Vale, Gateshead, Preston, Tranmere, Hartlepool, West Ham, Middlesbrough, Queen's Park Rangers, Norwich, West Brom, Cardiff, and Rotherham.
Jesus Christ.
Journeyman.
That's a Championship journeyman if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. got his transfer to West Ham in 2018, so that's nice.
I remember. I actually know because I remember his signing video, where he was like, "Oh, I'm so excited to be here," and all the West Ham fans were like, "Who's this?" They
Yeah.
wanted a proper number 9, and they got Hugo instead.
Well, sometimes that's what you need is a big Jordan
Craig's
Hugo,
done well there.
a 5'11" target man. He
Who's
played for. It's very odd. He all of these towns in his career. They're mostly like English league journeyman sort of teams, but then he's also got a team called Jerez Industrial,
Perez?
who are out of Cadiz. In Spain, so he randomly played for a Spanish team very briefly towards the start of his career.
Oh, that's poor. As a Rotherham player slips over and Winger get the ball back, and Bengo, he's
And
out wide
Benga,
on the
yeah,
right
really
again.
pushing far, far forward,
Craig,
trying to
hopefully
create
Craig's
something
covering
there.
there. Dawson will
Worth
take us.
looking at, by the way, worth looking at their stadium and the number of people in the stadium while we think about, because we think about the Medeski and how many people we're putting in it each week at the moment. And I think Rotherham are a good example of like another team, maybe a little bit lower expectations than Reading fans at times, but like, I don't know, they've got a similar, like, modern bowl style stadium. And I imagine their fans have been their fans have not been through the ringer like ours have in terms of the off-field stuff, but in terms of the on-field stuff, they've gone through a similar amount in recent years.
Yeah, yeah.
Certainly not in terms of the off-field stuff. I'm not saying that at all. Reading trying to attack here, but struggling with the
Really
fewer
struggling to get nothing
players.
going.
Yeah, it's difficult here. Wing is serving a lot of balls in, but it's just not really coming for them at the moment. Craig has moved further forward. Wing's just trying to play a bit of hero ball here. He's looking for the touchdown pass when there are passes available to keep things going.
It could have been an easy pass out to Craig there on the right. Right.
Do you know what I mean by a touchdown pass?
You mean a long pass that someone will get on the end of and score?
I mean, he's looking for kind of like, I'll call that like the Hollywood pass that Steven Gerrard like. I mean, more like he's looking for the final pass immediately. He's looking for the assist right away. And yes, Sam's right. There is some frustration setting in for Reading. I think Rotherham have actually used gamesmanship pretty well throughout this game. There have been times, Smith's been booked for. I mean, maybe that was the warning. Smith was booked for dissent shortly before Kelvin and Garcia had their moment. They got Kelvin sent off. So it's just sloppy right now. Reading are actually holding on to possession pretty well for a team of 10 right now, but just some key passes are just not getting where they need to go.
There was a prime moment there. They've just won the ball back very nicely, and then it's just gone wide to Craig, who's lost the ball. It's ball possession wise, it's all running at the moment, but we're not necessarily doing anything too meaningful with it.
There we go. Just make the easy next pass. It doesn't need to be a touchdown right away, and then Wareham gets another cross into the box low, and Wareham's touched that just around the post. This isn't bad stuff from Reading, but like this is something that we didn't see earlier when Reading had more players available. Calvin wasn't really in the game too much in the first half either, but yeah, this is it's certainly not ideal sometimes when it comes to the final third. Sam says Smith getting booked for dissent is an easy bet in any game. To be fair, and I have I always find it quite funny when I watch Sam Smith. When I'm in the stadium, because I can hear him, more than you can on the TV, and he's always running around yelling and things like that. And whenever I see him like getting into it with somebody on the touchline, I'm always reminded that he has like a Bible verse in his like Twitter thing. It's like he's a very religious and like
very religious man, but
kind man, yeah. But then when he gets on the football field, he's like, right, F these guys, like, yeah. But that's what you need if you're an athlete. You need to be able to switch on that.
As you cross the white line, you get the
Garcia there getting just easily beaten in a 1v1. And Hugo put through, but it's offside. And Button actually made the save there. And yeah, so this is right. Neil says we should be using this intensity when we had 11 men. It's frustrating. I agree. Yeah, they should have been doing more when they were when they had 11 men on the field, especially in the first half when Reading having a good handle on the aerial duels and things coming into the box. They
Rotherham
had
are
it at
definitely.
arm's length.
One thing I will say is Rotherham, due to games, they're very much allowing us to have a lot more of the ball now than
100%. Yeah.
that could also play a factor into sort of the intensity. That intensity is it just looks like Reading are sort of doing more because Rotherham are kind of sitting off that little bit. That could be a reason for it. But I do
Yeah.
agree it does need to be a little bit more intense, sort of first half, and especially that period after half time to concede 2 goals within 10 minutes. It's just frustrating, to be honest.
Yeah. I think they need to be moved. Sometimes, like I said, they're looking for this touchdown pass rather than trying to just keep cycling the ball around. And like obviously they have
Finding
more players,
opportunities.
so it's going to be hard to do. But while they're letting us have the ball, we really need to be trying to tire them out a bit more. And we're just letting that not happen by kind of easily.
Good defending
Sorry,
that from Ringer.
Binden's just done well to win a
Very
1v1
good
there
defending
when
that.
the ball's
Getting his
been
body
sent
in the way.
through. Bin has done really well there just to use his body. It's just a lot of kind of sloppy passes. I think Garcia has been really put off his game by the Rotherham play. They've done a real good number on him,
Yeah,
this
they've
game.
got in
And
his head.
I
Very much
think
got in his
that,
head.
yeah, definitely got in his head. I think this will
Like,
be, I think that moment when we had to take off a Brafer will be important if this game does end the way that it has done. I think that's kind of a key turning moment in the match because they have really managed, like you said, to
into
get
that incident with
Garcia
Rotherham.
off his game here a little bit.
Ball forward for Reading, but Rotherham will clear that fairly easily upfield.
Yeah.
Benge wins the header though.
I mean, giving us a little bit of
What
a taste of our own medicine here, in that they're sitting compact in the middle of the field and
some
really just
transition.
preventing us from reaching those areas. Ball comes across, and Mbenge is able to clear out the low cross. But not what Reading need here, and I can't think there's going to be loads and loads of extra time for them to work with. Reading have been better.
Because they've been down quite a lot, Rotherham. So two changes here.
All right, so here comes a Conde.
And Harley Dean.
30.
30 is Garcia.
Garcia, yeah, I think that's right. I think Garcia's just his head's gone at this stage. Dean coming on then as well.
Yeah, Dean on Craig as well. So he's moved Amadou to. He must have moved unless he's gone with a 3-back potentially.
Well, I wonder if they're going to look for a corner now if they've brought Dean on. So
Dean.
Craig was very high a moment ago. So they've taken off both of the fullbacks in one go here and brought on a winger and a centre back. So Reading, pushing higher here. Obviously, they can't hang around at the back anymore.
On the right is Smith moved over to Smith.
Oh, 6 minutes tells you what I know.
6 minutes. Not bad.
6 minutes.
Come on then, Reading. Come on then. Can be on the ball here. Running forward with a bit of pace.
Right, I'll put in a little question. I'll put in a spot on the Tilehurst end thing. But if you guys have any questions for the end of the game, Ryan and I will stick around for about 15 minutes here. So
another offside there.
Feel free to ask any questions that you guys do have. I'm going to post.
Turning into a very end-to-end game. This Rotherham trying to hit us in the transition while we commit numbers forward. Is that a foul? For God's sake, he'll probably take 10 minutes. Oh no, he's got up, to be fair to him.
Why are you J Ryan 3?
J Ryan 03 _.
Okay. There you are.
Just hi Scud. How are we? How are Wickham getting on? Sorry, my mate's just popped into the comment section.
Oh yeah, is he?
Well, what's the score, is he?
How are Wickham getting on? I literally couldn't care less.
No. Probably beating Crawley.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, welcome to the live stream.
Yeah, Dawson with a kick upfield. Gone out of play. Oh, no. Rotherham got a chance here with Nombe.
Oh, dear, yeah. He has
penalty spot. Good block, Binden. Good block. And Reading come away with it again.
Dear me. Dear me.
We've got 4 minutes to try and salvage something here.
Nombe's been booked. Finally, a Rotherham player has been booked. It only took 92 minutes. Oh dear. Well, Reading here, it's gone slow for the first couple minutes of injury time. They haven't really been able to put together a final push here. Hopefully we can get the ball upfield from this free kick. Button's the only player in the Reading half.
Stick Dean up front at this point.
And
See what
the ball
happens.
goes over the top for Bindon, who's all the way out on the left side, which is, or is that Wing
No
who's
player.
all the way out? Interesting
Mm,
choice. Rotherham are breaking here. They've got 2 men ahead of the ball, and Benge is the only person who's getting across in the
Benga's gonna
box, and he is
cross.
able
Good
by
tackle.
himself to block it out.
Very good tackle, that. Only 1-0 against Crawley is a pretty poor result, if you ask me, to be honest.
And Benge there does really, really well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
Sam's
good
right.
tackle.
Should be 3-1. Rotherham. I mean, I'd be screaming at them if I was their coach. We do 2-on-1 scenarios all the time. People should be able to break down that very, very easily. And the Rotherham players made a poor decision trying to take on the shot by himself way too wide. And it's given Mbenge just a little bit of time to get out there and make a good challenge.
This is quite amazing. Have you seen the set piece from Rotherham with one player in the box?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Rotherham here trying to end the game. They've gone for a corner and they've got one player in the box here, and the player Hugill there, who's been trying to win the ball, who is the captain now as well. But he has immediately lost the ball. Has gone out for a goal kick, and Reading can push the ball forward again. Wing is going to throw the ball over the top. Smith being pulled, but no foul referee.
No. Okay.
And the ball is just kind of hovering in midair. Reading are trying to break the ball forward here, but honestly, it's a little bit more looking likely that Rotherham could get a third here because it's really messy. The rest defense is incredibly messy from Reading right now, so there are holes all over the pitch as they go forward. And Dean there gets the ball out to Mbenge in sort of the right back position. Everyone is in Rotherham's half. Oh dear, but Wing's just been beaten on the turn, and Reading now. Harley Dean tries to play the offside trap, and he just doesn't quite get their head. And Mbenge again gets back and stops that. This would be 4-1 without Mbenge right now. I mean, it is remarkable. The goalkeeper for Rotherham comes all the way out and heads the ball.
Right, give it to Amadou. Just launch it in the box.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, like, come on now. Yeah, Ruben Smith wanted to throw a quick, so there's a throw-in classic Mbenge position here, and Smith wanted to throw it into the box immediately, and Ruben and James both well out of the technical area, yelling at him to slow down, wait for Mbenge.
Quite funny, yeah.
Mbenge, here comes that long cross into the box. It's a good first header from Bindon, but can't get over. And then Savage over the top back into the goal. Reading shelling the box here. Smith, he's turned around and he's hit a Reading player with the ball. Savage shooting from outside of the box here. Rotherham able to clear it away for a corner. 1 minute left in injury time here, and Reading are pushing for an at the moment.
One last chance, hope maybe.
Bindon's such a target from these set pieces. It's just where that
buttons up.
Oh, up comes Button. All right, then. Here we go. Guys, get your... Here we go. Let's go. Oh, my gosh. And it's actually hit Button.
Yeah, just hit him.
It's just hit Button. And, oh, my word. Deflect across him from Wing. It's just not quite where we need it to fall. And Rotherham are able to clear up. It's coming back on out. Akande and Savage are the men who've been left to defend the Rotherham player, and maybe a little lucky to get away without a foul there. Savage delivering the ball straight back into the Rotherham half. Oh my word! There's ball rolling around in the box. Shot off. Oh my word! It's hit the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper is able to claim the ball. Reading really had great chances.
I'm sorry, the ref's just given a foul there
on the goalie.
On who?
It's probably on the goalie, isn't it? It'll be that the goalie had the ball at his feet, in his hands, and that technically stops the play. But you have to have it off the ground as well. So let's see. Nibs with a chance to shoot gets blocked by a Rotherham player. Smith hits across the box as hard as he can, and I think it's Wareham there. And then Harley Dean's ridden the goalkeeper there as it goes down. Very, very close to Reading. And yeah, I mean, look, they produced a couple of good chances in these final 5 or 10 minutes here, but they really needed this intensity before they went down to 11 men. Or 10 men, sorry. Down to 11 men. And
Obviously,
that's that
pick up
at
the
the New York Stadium. Reading go in 1-0 at the break, but they cannot hold on to the win today. And Rotherham come back with two early goals in the second half there, both from crosses to put the game beyond Reading. Bit of a
That's
shame.
frustrating.
Yeah,
Frustrating. A 10-minute
yeah,
period, really, the game's kind of gone away from us. Rotherham
it really has.
capitalised.
It
Two
really
back
has.
crosses. Nombe had a very good game. I'm just seeing him on my screen now. He was excellent for them, I thought. But
Yeah.
ultimately, we knew it was going to be a tough occasion up at Rotherham. Not the best of results going to the international break. We've got obviously Cheltenham midweek in the BSM, but yeah, frustrating for
My
Reading.
my take would be that the game changed when Abrafa had to come off. I think that Reading were looking pretty solid up until that moment, at least when the ball came back, towards Button. At least had some sort of structure. Oh no, so that's unfair on Garcia, but I think that Abrafa and Bindon were just working together a little bit more cohesively, and that was causing fewer issues for the back line. So
Changing the dynamics
Garcia,
of the back four
it-
at any point in the game is never great. So
yeah.
to be forced into that within the first half is worrying. No, don't get me wrong, I'm slightly worried. I'm hoping a brace. It's a minor injury, but
Yeah.
nothing too major. Hopefully,
I think this is kind of like I think Sam in the chat or somebody was kind of speaking about it. This is one of the issues with playing these young players is that Garcia can have a great game on Tuesday against Burton, but then may well have a poor game or just not quite get to where we need him to go in this particular game. Again, though, I think these are two good goals from Rotherham.
yeah,
Firstly, from a for the first one from a technical perspective, and then the second one from a kind of
game
coaching
plan.
perspective, in terms of how you build your set pieces and things like that. And it's kind of interesting with Smith asking for that, wanting to play that throw in really really quickly at the end there, and Ruben and James both being like, no, let's take it slow, let's let's
Maybe
kind of
hitting
make
quicker
sure
would
that we
be
make the
better.
most of it. Kind of shows you where the priorities are for a lot of teams these days. They want to generate something out of their set pieces.
An aerial duel stat has just popped up on my screen now. 52%
Okay,
in the second half, 52% finished on for Reading winning the duels. So that a
it's important.
significant drop off in the second half.
Yeah, let me pull that up. You're looking at Sofa Score, are you?
Oh no, I've still got the game on just to my right, and I've seen the stats pop up at the end of the game. But yeah,
Yeah.
Reading definitely frustrating going forwards. For
Oh my word, yeah. So I mean, this is the game right here. Like, and I'd be interested to break this down from when Abrafa came off to afterwards. So the first half, Reading wins 71% of their aerial duels. Second half, Reading win 38%. And so that can be a case of like players just playing a little bit, getting the better of their man and working out, testing their defender and working out what they can defend well and what they're not good at, and starting to play towards what they're not good at over and over again to try and create like a little bit of space. But um like there's also, what am I saying here? I've kind of gone off the thing. You got to
uh,
win your damn duels, or you're not going to, like that. Basically, I'm saying that the way in which you can get on top of it can be via individual player action or through the coaching staff making a change to how players are being attacked and things like that. And whatever it is, it's worked for Rotherham in the second half here. So yeah, it's a
although
shame. And you hate to see that. Steve Evans
um,
is stupid
there's
pear-shaped thing. Is
bloody
he going to kick
fist
the
bump
ball
thing
into
that
the
he does.
stands? Let's see. No,
Oh,
he's
I
just
hope
running
he falls
the ball.
over. I just hope he falls over. You know what? I just hate to see him happy.
You
I
really do.
just, oh yeah, cool. Well done, Steve. Thank you.
Well done, Steve. Well done. Well, that draws Rotherham level on points with Reading, and yeah, it's gonna be a long old season with results like this, isn't it? We're
Yeah, I
gonna have
suppose
ups and downs.
we do need to take some positives though. I mean, you look at the last three games, 6 points from nine is still good, still a
The
good return.
biggest positives really were the. I mean, like the start of today, we were closer to the automatic spots than we were to relegation. So I
which is good.
think, honestly, as long as we stay closer to playoff than relegation, that's kind of one of my goals for this season. Is just to
Yeah,
always be closer to playoffs than relegation.
yeah.
And again, I just think that Reading weren't great all of today. I think that there's some thinking for me to do about whether there are some changes that can be made. Not that I'm going to be implementing them.
Ross is going
You
to be
know,
there on the sidelines.
Russ is going to be there, yeah, on the training ground. But yeah, no, I think that I do think that a lot of the game today hinged on a Brafer coming off, and I want to look into that more as the week goes on and kind of have a chance to put some actual evidence behind that. But yeah, I do think it's worth noting that Chem Campbell didn't have a great game. I didn't think,
Very quiet.
any of the.
Very
I
quiet.
thought Smith was the best of the forwards today.
Hold up play was
Um,
very good. I'd agree.
and Wareham pulled himself into space a few times when he did
Yeah,
get out there, which was pretty good going. One thing, like we've scored 3 goals on Tuesday. We scored 5 goals this week, right?
yeah.
Or 6 goals, I suppose, this week. So it's not the worst turnout ever, but yeah, I just feel like we need goals coming from more players at the moment, and I don't want to necessarily change everything around, but kind of at times I feel like they could bring out the sort of 4-1-4-1 formation that we used last year a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
I think that
I mean,
once we have Yeardon back, that might be something that we see, and Craig might get a little run at center mid as well. Elliot has been quietly not as good as he was in the first
wasn't
half
great today.
or the first month of the season since the most recent international break.
I would say that if we look at the 6 goals that we scored this week as well, I'd argue Elliot and Wings goals. So Elliot's against Huddersfield and Wings today. You've got moments quality there, two decent finishes, and
Yeah,
then the rest of them that you're looking very much from like almost a counter press situation, which obviously I know we look to create,
yeah,
and then one set piece as well. So yeah, worrying that there's been no build up goals as such.
yeah.
I'd say
I
worrying
think
almost.
that's the biggest thing for Reading to solve this season if they are going to be a team that is going to, push for the playoffs, is that they are going to need to know how to break down, stodgy defenses or
Yeah.
break down when the large period of this game when Rotherham were just sitting, defending in a mid block, and Reading really didn't have any way to get into the middle of the field. So yeah, I think that some of those runs that we've seen from Ben Elliott breaking into the middle of the field haven't really been there in the last few
No,
weeks, and that's
no.
been an issue. Doing it in that sort of like 4-1-4-1 thing that we did last year also allows us to get Nibs a little bit closer to Smith, which I think is
Always
important.
good.
Yeah, I've just seen that cross back for the
Just
first goal
cross.
for Rotherham. It's just a fantastic
Mm.
cross, really.
Good
I mean,
speed, good area to hit as well.
good speed. It's an in swinger. It's dropped right as the player gets there. I mean, that is he's managed to put the ball 2 feet around Craig. It's a really really good cross. But yeah,
One important things for us as running fans, I think we need to remember going into this sort of international break is if you look at the standard and quality of teams that we faced so far,
yeah,
I'd argue we've played a lot of the so-called top 10 or what people would expect to be a top 10.
yeah,
There's only 2 sides, I would say, out of the 10 we've played that aren't going to be in the top 10, and that's Burton and Leighton Orient. And whilst Leighton was a poor result, we've still got points and wins where you wouldn't necessarily expect it. So I wouldn't say it's a time for overreaction in the slightest. Not that there's any easy games in this division, but there are certainly easier games coming up with teams with a little bit less quality. I mean, I know Rotherham aren't the most aesthetically pleasing footballing team, but they've still got quality. And same can be said about Bolton when they smashed us. Bolton still they may have had a poor start, still one of the best teams in this division,
yeah.
quality wise, player for player. So it's been a tough start. Hopefully, it'll be easier games coming up. Touch wood, as I said, not really any easier games, but fixture wise, you would expect it to get hopefully a little bit easier going.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a legitimate question to be asked about whether Reading could develop a bit more of an interesting plan B. And I
Yeah.
wonder if maybe some sort of double pivot with dropping Ben Elliott and bringing Savage in on the left side might be something that we can see occasionally against the weaker teams. But I do think that Elliott's ability to move the ball in small spaces is very useful playing against teams with more talent, such as Rotherham. We're looking at the results here.
Yeah, sorry, I just saw Birmingham have lost their first game of the season, which is bloody hilarious.
Oh, they
It's
have to Charlton as well.
oh,
It's a Premier League game, that Charlton
that
v Birmingham.
is, yeah, that's a proper Barclaysman Premier League game, if you will.
Proper Barclays stuff there.
Or
Oh, that's a
Wick-
shame. Wickham in the top six. What can you
that's
do?
not what I want to hear or see.
Well, we'll wrap
Unfortunately.
this up because
Yeah.
we're getting to the end here, but we will be back, obviously, and you can watch these on the YouTube channel if you want to watch back as how Ryan and I were reacting to things. We will be back for more away games, home games. Ryan will be there, and I will be doing my ratings and all those kinds of fun things. But any last thoughts, Ryan, on today's game?
Other than thank you everyone for tuning in today. It's been great to hop on and react to the match live, and hopefully we gave you some good alternative coverage here. But yeah, thank you for having us on, Ross.
Yeah,
And
for sure. So obviously the next game's a home game, so I don't think we'll be back for that one. Next away game, oh my word. Well, the next away game in League One, I will be there in England in the away end. So we won't be doing that one.
what is
It's
the
going
next
to
away
be
game?
a little while before the next one, I think towards the end of this month. But thank you to everyone who joined us today. A lot of fun, lots of fun to answer your questions as we're going through this. And yeah, just trying to do a lot more on the Tilehurst end this year. Long form content, short form content, everything. So let us know what you want. Ask your questions. We are here to help. I guess
Yeah.
therapy, Reading Football Club.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully providing a balance for you on the turbulent times at this club.
exact. That is that's actually a great way of putting it, Ryan. This is why Ryan gets the big bucks. We're trying to provide a balanced view on a very difficult time for the club. So, yeah, thanks you to everybody who watched, listened, or anything today. Shame about the result, but that's football. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. As Gattuso said, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. So, that's the story of the first and second half today. All right. Well, thank you guys, everyone. You have a great rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you towards the end of the month.
See you later, guys.